Chapter 547. Jun Xiaoyao's arrival at Hulao Pass caused a commotion everywhere. However, what confused Jun Xiaoyao was that he did not sense the auras of Yu Fuozi and the others. Naturally, Jun Xiaoyao did not think that Yu Fuozi and the others feared him. Just at this moment, the sound of waves came from the space in front. A woman with aqua-blue curly hair emerged from a wave formed by Dao inscriptions. Her upper body was that of a human, and her skin was as white as ivory. Her chest was covered by a shell. Her lower body was that of a silver fishtail. Her scales shone, looking very beautiful. This was a mermaid. It's the mermaid race of the Sea Monarch's ancient astral domain. She is the princess of the mermaid race, Yumerin. She is also one of the sea god's third crown prince's Dao companions. Upon seeing Yumerin, many outstanding talents exclaimed. Yumerin looked at Jun Xiaoyao in a daze for a moment. She thought that her Dao companion, the sea god's third crown prince, was already handsome enough. However, this white-clad young master before her was even more handsome than the sea god's third crown prince. Yumerin calmed herself and said, "His Highness, the third crown prince, will be waiting for you at the Dao Plaza outside the Underworld Star. I hope that you will not be afraid to go." The Underworld Star's Dao Plaza, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. Yumerin continued, "Of course, the third crown prince also said that as long as you are willing to hand over the Kuan Pung great magic skill and the Kuan Pung true blood and apologize to him, he might forgive you." These words silenced the entire Hulao Pass for a moment. Previously, Yu Fuozi wanted to convert Jun Xiaoyao and take him in as a servant. Then, the sea god's third crown prince wanted Jun Xiaoyao to hand over the fortuitous encounter and apologize. Even Jun Xiaoyao was slightly stunned by what he saw. When did he become so shameless? Now everyone dared to say such harsh words to him? Mu Yuehan and the golden-winged roc, who were at the side, berated at the same time. Who does the sea god's third crown prince think he is? How dare he threaten the Son of God? Yumerin shook her head slightly and said, "In this era, heroes rise together. It is not a stage for the Jun family's Son of God alone. You have offended His Royal Highness the Third Prince. You'd better behave yourself." Jun Xiaoyao nodded and said, "You're right. I really should consider what kind of gift I should give to the sea god's third prince." Upon hearing this, all the Emperor Road sky prides in Hulao Pass were dumbfounded. The Son of God of the Jun family, who had always been domineering and flamboyant, was actually keeping a low profile? Just as everyone thought so, Jun Xiaoyao continued to smile and said, "What do you think about using your head as an apology?" Hearing this, Yumerin's expression immediately changed. However, before she could react, a voice rang out. Jun Xiaoyao took a step forward, and a mysterious spatial Dao pattern spread out from under his feet. Vaguely, the shadow of a Kuan Peng appeared behind him. It was the Kuan Peng's extreme speed. It all happened in the blink of an eye, and before anyone could react, Zhang Xian was stunned. In the blink of an eye, Jun Xiaoyao was already in front of Yumerin. Yumerin retreated instinctively and screamed at the same time, "Son of God of the Jun family, are you crazy? This is Hulao Pass. How dare you make a move?" Fighting was not allowed in the 18 city passes of the Emperor Road. This was an ironclad rule. What are the rules in front of this Son of God? Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. He waved his palm forward, revealing a mysterious trajectory. Like a Kuan Peng swinging its tail, he attacked Yumerin. No! Yumerin tried her best to resist, but how could she resist the might of the Kuan Peng's grand magic? Her beautiful body exploded almost instantly. Blood splattered everywhere, and broken bones flew everywhere. Only a beautiful head remained in its original state. The last expression on her beautiful face was one of horror and disbelief. She never thought that Jun Xiaoyao would attack her in front of everyone in Hulao Pass. Moreover, envoys were not killed when two nations were at war. Yumerin was only here to pass on a message, and she died in the Yellow Springs. This death was too unjust. After killing Yumerin, Jun Xiaoyao flung his wrist, and Yumerin's head flew towards Muyuan. Wrap it well. Didn't the sea god's third crown prince want to apologize? I wonder if he likes this gift? Seeing Yumerin's head flying over, Muyuan's body trembled slightly. She quickly took out a piece of cloth and wrapped it up. As for all the outstanding talents in Hulao Pass, they were like clay statues. They stood there in a daze, unable to recover their wits for a long time. Yumerin could be considered a peerless talent. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao killed her with one slap. It was easier than killing a chicken. Murder! The Jun family's son of God killed someone in the city pass. Where are the city guards? Are they not going to do anything? Why would they care? Didn't you hear? Previously, the Jun family's son of God killed someone in Sword Gate Pass. Even the city guards came out to apologize. Many discussions broke out in the surroundings. He actually mastered the Kunpeng's great magic in such a short time? Hong Ling, Qing Hong, Jin Guxuan, and the others also had fear in their eyes. On the one hand, they were afraid of Jun Xiaoyao's decisiveness. On the other hand, they were surprised that Jun Xiaoyao was able to directly perform the Kunpeng's great magic. As for the black-robed cloaked man hiding in the dark, he was also surprised. He said, "This generation's sacred body of the ancients is indeed not weak." The entire Hulao Pass was shaken by Jun Xiaoyao. At that moment, a captain braced himself and stepped forward. There was still a trace of shock in his eyes. Seeing this scene, many of the Emperor Road's outstanding talents were surprised. Was this captain here to denounce Yi Futian? Jun Xiaoyao glanced at the captain indifferently. Smack! The captain's legs went soft, and he tripped and fell to the ground. He then got up awkwardly and respectfully cupped his hands. "I'm the son of God of the Jun family. The Lord Guardian has ordered that Hell Star will be opened. If the Son of God is interested, you can go to the dojo outside Hell Star and wait." The captain lowered his head and said respectfully, "I see. I understand." Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. This scene silenced all the outstanding talent. The Yumerin was killed in front of everyone in the city pass, but this captain did not even dare to mention it. Even the Lord Guardian did not have the slightest objection. Instead, he had already ordered Jun Xiaoyao to go to Hellstar's dojo. From all these aspects, it was enough to see that Jun Xiaoyao's identity and strength were enough to allow him to stand above the rules. His words were dogma. Even geniuses like Long Xuhuang, Huang Zhiyan, and the descendants of the crocodile ancestor could not be as unscrupulous as the son of God of the Jun family, right? In the eyes of the Emperor Road's guardians, the Jun family is more terrifying than the other immortal forces. Some of the outstanding talents whispered to each other. They did not know about the great immortal war that took place in the Huangtian mystic realm. If they knew, they would not find it strange. If the Jun family was really angry and used all their resources, the entire Emperor Road would be destroyed. Therefore, these high and mighty Imperial Pass Guardians did not dare to offend Jun Xiaoyao. Even if Jun Xiaoyao killed someone in public, they would just pretend that they did not see it. "Alright, let's go to Hellstar's dojo and give the Sea God's third prince this big gift." Jun Xiaoyao put his hands behind his back and stepped on the 9-colored peacock's head. Muyuan and the golden-winged roc followed on his left and right. They rushed to Hellstar's dojo. "Let's go and watch a good show." All the outstanding talents in Hulao Pass were on the move. They followed behind Jun Xiaoyao, ready to watch a big show. Jin Guxuan, Qing Hong, Hong Ling, the black-cloaked man, and the others also followed behind with sparkles in their eyes. In an instant, all the outstanding talents in Hulao Pass were led by Jun Xiaoyao, forming a long river and heading to Hellstar's dojo. Chapter 548. The Infernal Star was located in the void 1,000,000 miles away from Hulao Pass. It was a dark red star that was shrouded in an ominous aura. Outside the Infernal Star, there was a majestic dojo floating in the void. This was where the Emperor Road's sky prides prepared themselves and settled down. The teleportation portal to the infernal star was also here. At this moment, in the starry sky not far from the infernal star dojo, the vast and mighty stream of people surged over like a surging heavenly river, traversing the void. The person in the lead stood on a 9-colored peacock with his hands behind his back. His robes fluttered in the wind, making him look like a real immortal. What's going on? So many auras are coming. Oh my God, those are the sky prides from Hulao Pass. They're all here. Look, the person in the lead. Is he the rumored son of God of the June family? The arrival of such a large group of people had obviously attracted the attention of the sky prides in the dojo. The infernal star was about to open, and they were also making preparations. Is that the infernal star? Jun Xiaoyao looked at the dark red star. The entire star was like a dark red demon's eye, carrying with it a murderous aura. Wisps of blood-red mist wrapped around the star like a waterfall. Because Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was very sensitive, he could also sense that the infernal star was shrouded in resentment. Could it really be a dangerous place formed by the resentment of the sky prides who died in the Emperor Road? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Then, Jun Xiaoyao turned to look at the dojo floating in the starry sky. He could also sense that there were many powerful auras hidden in the dojo. The sky prides who dared to go to the infernal star to train were all capable. They were not ordinary people. Among these powerful auras, Jun Xiaoyao could also sense 3 extremely powerful auras. If the sky pride's auras were a ball of fire, then these 3 powerful auras were like the sun. Boom! In the infernal star dojo, the 3 auras rose at almost the same time. This aura carried a golden Buddhist light, as if it had the power to deliver all living beings from torment. This aura was incomparably sharp, as it turned into a terrifying sword chi that seemed as though it could slice through the void for thousands of miles. A strand of aura, vast and boundless like the ocean, surged with magical power, surging out like a great wave breaking a dike. These 3 auras gushed out like volcanoes and pressed down on Jun Xiaoyao. The eyes of the prodigies from Hulao Pass, who had followed Xiao Chen, overflashed when they sensed the 3 terrifying auras pressing over. Is he trying to intimidate the son of God of the Jun family before even showing his face? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm as he sensed the overwhelming aura. He snorted coldly and flung his sleeves. His aura erupted, causing the universe to collapse. It was as if a supreme immortal king had awakened, his aura powerful to the point of making one tremble. Boom! The 3 auras that were pressing over were all destroyed by Jun Xiaoyao's flick of his sleeves. Jun Xiaoyao's aura alone was resisting the auras of the 3 little giants, and he was still crushing them. This made the prodigies behind him take a deep breath again. At this moment, a cold laugh came from the dojo. Haha, as expected of the person who dared to take away my opportunity. Jun Xiaoyao, as the number 1 person among the younger generation of the Huangtian mystic realm, you are indeed something. As this cold voice came out, in one of the buildings in the dojo, a huge wave suddenly turned into a pillar of water that gushed out, revealing a figure. It was a handsome young man with a head of ocean blue hair that scattered spots of light. He wore the 7 seas serpent armor and held the Sea King's trident. It was the Sea God's 3rd prince from the Sea King's ancient star zone. He first looked at Jun Xiaoyao and then glanced around, but he didn't see that figure. Where did the mermaid go? The Sea God's 3rd prince was a little confused. However, he didn't think too much about it. Right now, his main focus was still on Jun Xiaoyao. In another dojo building, a golden Buddha's light surged out. Many prodigies who were illuminated by this Buddha's light were slightly dazed, as if they had developed a desire to worship. After a while, they came back to their senses with a deep shock in their eyes. Just a wisp of Buddha's light was enough to shake their minds. How terrifying was Yu Fuzi! In the sky full of Buddha's light, Yu Fuzi's figure also appeared. He wore a jade-white Zen robe, and his face was like jade. He had a smile on his face, like a Buddha who smiled while holding a flower. He wasn't the only one who appeared. The followers of the prodigies who had been converted by him also followed. There was also the suppressed nine-headed lion. When it saw Jun Xiaoyao's figure that it hadn't seen in a long time, it cried out with tears in its eyes. "Master, Master, it's me, nine-headed lion. Sob, you're finally here. I've suffered so much." The nine-headed lion cried out with tears in its eyes, as if it had seen its closest relative. "Gosheng, looks like you're quite energetic. I don't have to worry about you," Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. The nine-headed lion's tears immediately stopped. The surrounding prodigies looked at the nine-headed lion with strange gazes. "Gosheng, this name. Master, we haven't seen each other in a long time. Can we not talk about my dark history?" The nine-headed lion grinned and gritted its teeth. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. His gaze fell on Yufuzi, and his expression turned serious. This Yufuzi was indeed something. Not only was he powerful, but the power of his primordial spirit was also far superior to that of ordinary prodigies. No wonder he can convert others, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. "You're Jun Xiaoyao. Bullying a weak woman is beneath your son of God demeanor." Yufuzi was still smiling with narrowed eyes. "Lord Buddha, you must suppress this bastard." Under Jun Xiaoyao's feet, the nine-colored peacock spoke with a hopeful tone. She hoped that Yufuzi could suppress Jun Xiaoyao and help her vent her anger. "Noisy!" Jun Xiaoyao stomped his foot. The nine-colored peacock screamed. Yufuzi's smile faded. "Why aren't you smiling anymore? Squinting your eyes all the time. Do you really think people with squinting eyes are monsters?" Jun Xiaoyao smirked. He was also very tired of such hypocrite. "Humph, why bother talking to this person? Anyway, as long as he dares to enter Infernal Star, he won't be able to walk out alive." Suddenly, a cold voice was heard. A swordsman in a green robe rose up on a flying sword. The space around him vibrated, and sword chi gathered. It was the sword son of the void. However, at this moment, he was in his original body. His aura was much stronger than the spiritual body in the Kuan-Ping nest. When the void swordsman appeared, Jun Xiaoyao could clearly feel that he had comprehended the space book. When the void swordsman saw Jun Xiaoyao, he could also feel that the space around Jun Xiaoyao was vibrating slightly. Could it be? Could it be? The void swordsman's eyes lit up. The space book. Jun Xiaoyao had the other half of the space book that he had been dreaming of. The void swordsman took a deep breath and suppressed the excitement in his heart. He had to get the other half of the space book, no matter what the cost. Jun Xiaoyao and the swordmaster of the void both had deep looks in their eyes. They had a tacit understanding and didn't mention the space-breaking book. When the time came, they would see who could get the other half of the space book. Chapter 549. The appearance of the three figureheads had undoubtedly pushed the atmosphere to a climax. The air was filled with the smell of gunpowder. The sea god's third prince said coldly, "Jun Xiaoyao, although you're not weak, the Emperor Road doesn't belong to you alone. If you hand over the Kuan-Peng's divine power and the Kuan-Peng's true blood, I can choose not to be your enemy." The sea god's third prince was not stupid. Although the Jun family was unlikely to intervene in the Battle of the Emperor Road personally. However, Jun Xiaoyao's background was there for all to see. Even if he was the sea god's third prince of the ancient star region, he could not help but be wary. Therefore, if he could get the benefits directly, there was no need for him to be Jun Xiaoyao's enemy. The price he had to pay was too high. Jun Xiaoyao smiled and nodded slightly. "You're right. I, the Son of God, do have something to give you." After saying that, Jun Xiaoyao clapped his hands. Mu Yuehan, who was standing beside him, had a hint of mockery in her beautiful eyes. She threw something wrapped in cloth to the sea god's third prince. "Did you already prepare it?" The sea god's third prince looked puzzled. He took the thing and opened it. Suddenly, A bloody woman's head appeared in front of him. Her face was twisted with fear. Boom! The sea god's third prince felt as if he had been struck by lightning. His brain was buzzing. Umairan! The sea god's third prince's pupils shrank to the size of a needle. Then, he roared into the sky. His ocean blue hair danced wildly in the wind. He was furious. Although Umairan was only one of his companions, she was the one he valued and liked the most. Now, all that was left was a cold head. What do you think? Do you like this gift from the Son of God? Jun Xiaoyao clasped his hands behind his back. The corner of his mouth was still curled up in that gentle and calm smile. Seeing this scene, many sky prides of the Emperor Road were disappointed. Everyone said that Yu Fuzi was a smiling tiger. Now, they felt that the Son of God of the Jun family was just as cunning. I want you dead. The sea god's third prince wielded the Sea King's trident and thrust it at Jun Xiaoyao. Now, the Jun family and their background were nothing to be afraid of. Jun Xiaoyao had already stepped on his head. If he still swallowed this insult, his Tao heart would collapse. The Golden Sea King's trident pierced towards Jun Xiaoyao with a supreme mystic force. It was a rare supreme weapon. In the Sea King ancient starfield, there was a real monarch weapon, the Sea God's trident. Although the Sea King's trident was a replica of the Sea God's trident, it was still a supreme being weapon. The Sea God's third prince's attack was like a sea of stars that surged out along with the Sea King's trident. Its might was frightening. Upon seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao did not bring out the myriad chi cauldron. Instead, he stretched out a hand. Many of the Emperor Road's sky prides widened their eyes when they saw this. Don't tell me that the Jun family's Son of God is going to resist a supreme weapon with his physical body? How is this possible? Even if he has the sacred body of the ancients, he can't resist a supreme weapon if he hasn't cultivated it to perfection. Jun Xiaoyao's move surprised everyone. A cold glint flashed in the sea god's third prince's eyes. If he could take advantage of this opportunity to kill Jun Xiaoyao, he might really shake up the Emperor Road. As for the consequences? Jun Xiaoyao had already killed his partner and humiliated him by stepping on his head. What else could he care about in the end? Die. The sea god's third prince unleashed the power of a saint. He held the Sea King's trident in his hand and stabbed it at Jun Xiaoyao's chest. Jun Xiaoyao stretched out 2 fingers. Clang! It was as if 2 divine weapons were colliding. Sparks burst out. The sea god's third prince was stunned in the next moment. Jun Xiaoyao clamped the tip of the trident between his index and middle fingers. The power that was as vast as the ocean was completely stopped by Jun Xiaoyao's 2 fingers. All the spectating sky prides narrowed their eyes and were shocked. Did he really block it? What kind of monstrous physical body does the Jun family's Son of God have? How many shackles has the sacred body of the ancients of the Jun family broken? How could his physical body be so strong? All the sky prides were incredulous. Resisting a supreme weapon with one's physical body was something they had never seen before. What a strong physical body! It's not much weaker than my master's, the black-cloaked man in the dark whispered in surprise. You! The sea god's third prince was stunned. He shook his arm and infused it with the power of a saint. He wanted to shake off Jun Xiaoyao's fingers. However, Jun Xiaoyao's fingers seemed to contain billions of pounds of power. They locked the Sea King's trident in place. Let go. The sea god's third prince's eyes were filled with shock and anger. It was humiliating and tarnishing his reputation. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his fingers, and a terrifying recoil surged out. The entire Sea King's trident buzzed and shook, bending it into a curve. Then, the sea god's third prince's expression suddenly changed, and he quickly let go. However, the terrifying power still hit him. Although the sea god's third prince was protected by the 7 Seas Jiao dragon armor, he still grunted from the shock and tasted blood in his mouth. There was a hint of horror in his eyes. It was worth noting that Jun Xiaoyao had only flicked his fingers. He actually forced the sea god's third prince to retreat with a flick of his finger? The Void Swordmaster and Yu Fuzi's eyes were also slightly focused. They had never underestimated Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao's performance was still somewhat beyond their expectations. I don't believe it. Again. The sea god's third prince looked ashamed and angry. He was about to attack again to avenge his previous humiliation. At that moment, a cold shout was heard. Everyone, stop! A figure flew over from the Dao Plaza. It was one of the commanders of Hulao Pass. The underworld star is about to open. At that time, you can fight however you want. However, you are at the Dao Plaza now. Do not mess around. This commander's face was stiff and cold, as if he was an impartial judge. However, the sea god's third prince felt somewhat frustrated. When Jun Xiaoyao attacked, why did this commander not appear to enforce the rules? Now that the sea god's third prince was at a disadvantage and wanted to retaliate, this commander appeared. How can he look down on others like that? We'll talk about it when the time comes then. After all, this son of God is the most law-abiding. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly, not in a rush. Countless people ridiculed Xiao Chen's words. Who was the one who said that he wanted to dye Sword Gate Pass red with blood? Who was the one who publicly killed people in Hulao Pass? Law-abiding Jun Xiaoyao, I am not lying, some outstanding talents complained in their hearts. Yu Fuozi gave Jun Xiaoyao a deep look. Then, he looked at the peacock that Yu Fuozi sat on and said, Kong Xian, endure for a while longer. Naturally, I will save you. The Void Sword Son's eyes also brimmed with fighting spirit. He needed to obtain Jun Xiaoyao's spacebook. The sea god's third prince hugged the mermaid's head, a bone-chilling coldness in his eyes. The sea god's third prince did not say anything. However, it was clear that the grudge between him and Jun Xiaoyao was irreconcilable. Just as the atmosphere eased slightly, suddenly the dark red underworld star in the distance started trembling slightly. A horrifying power of resentment turned into a surging dark red fog, nearly encasing the entire underworld star. It looks like the trial this time is more difficult than before. Will the legendary 19th floor of the underworld star open? There was a serious look in the commander's eyes. Chapter 550. The Infernal Star could be said to be one of the most dangerous training grounds on the Emperor Road. Less than 1 in 10 prodigies could make it out alive. Even so, there were still countless prodigies who went there. That was because there was a chance to find immortal essence on the Infernal Star. It was to the extent where if one's luck was even better, finding an immortal essence mine, then that would be a heaven-defying opportunity, completely striking it rich. Of course, immortal essence mines were very rare and were usually located in the depths of the Infernal Star. If one was not a powerful prodigy, venturing in recklessly was equivalent to courting death. Next, I will tell you about the rules of the Infernal Star. Listen carefully. If you lose your lives, don't blame me, the commander said. There are 18 levels from the surface to the depths of the Infernal Star. Of course, there is an extra level, the 19th level. I'm sure you've heard of it, the commander said. The 19th level of the Infernal Star, could it be the legendary? One of the prodigies seemed to have thought of something. His face turned green with fear. That's right. One of the 7 wonders, the 19th level of the Infernal Star. It's definitely not a place you can enter. However, the 19th level of the Infernal Star is usually not opened. This time, it's hard to say. The commander's words made all the prodigies in the training hall look unprecedentedly serious. One of the 7 wonders, the 19th level of the Infernal Star. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao realized that the 19th level of the Infernal Star was referring to the 19th level of the Infernal Star. As everyone knew, there were 18 levels in Infernal Star. Then the 19th level? Was there a deeper meaning to it? No one knew what was in it, because none of those who went in came out alive. The commander continued, let's not talk about the 19th level. as long as you don't court death and don't go in. As for the other 18 levels, there will be domains on every level. They will suppress 1/10 of your strength. For example, the first 6 levels will suppress the physical body. Every level, they will put shackles on your physical body, 1/10 of your strength. Finally, the 6th level, your physical body will only have 4/10 of its strength left. After the 6th level, it will be a restriction on spiritual power, same as the physical body. When you enter the 12th level, your spiritual power will also be reduced to 4/10. The last 6 levels will suppress the primordial spirit. What if he could reach the 18th floor? The power of my essence spirit will also be reduced to 40%. In other words, what if you go down to the lowest level? All of you only have 40% of your abilities left. The words caused the geniuses on the dojo to swallow their saliva in silence. In the end, he only has 40% of his strength left. How is he going to fight? That's right. The infernal star is already a dangerous place. If we only have 40% of our strength left, wouldn't we be courting death? Many sky prides felt that this was no different from courting death. Who told you to go down to the 18th level? If you don't have the ability, then stay on the upper level. If you are too cowardly, you can also leave, the commander said coldly. The geniuses clenched their teeth, unwilling to give up. If they cowered in fear, it would greatly affect their Tao hearts. Sigh, I'm afraid only the little tycoons and the son of God of the Jun family are qualified to enter. Some of the geniuses secretly looked at Jun Xiaoyao. They were very curious whether Jun Xiaoyao had the ability to reach the 18th level of the infernal star. All right, you all should prepare yourselves. We should be able to open it in a few days. After saying that, the commander looked at Jun Xiaoyao, Yu Fuzi, the sword master of the void, and the third prince of the sea god. Then, with a wave of his hand, 4 rays of light landed on each of them. This is... Jun Xiaoyao reached out to take it and found that it was a jade talisman. This jade talisman can resist the domain restraints of the infernal star for 15 minutes. In other words, no matter which level you are on, you will be able to unleash your full strength for 15 minutes, the commander said. What? Is there such a good thing? When the other geniuses heard that, their eyes lit up. This jade talisman was a life-saving talisman at a critical moment. Commander, may I ask where our jade talismans are? One of the geniuses asked with cupped fists. You? The commander glanced at him indifferently. No. How can this be? This is not fair. Many of the geniuses cried out. If you have the talent, strength, or family background of theirs, you can ask me for it. If you don't, then shut your mouth. The commander waved his hand and ignored them. All the geniuses' expressions turned ugly. This was the privileged class. However, they could not refute him. The third prince of the sea god was the crown prince of the Sea King ancient star region. The sword master of the void was a famous honorable void expert. Yu Fuzi was backed by the imperishable ancient sect, the Little Western Paradise. As for Jun Xiaoyao, not to mention, his background was the most prominent among the 4 of them. He was backed by 2 clan of the ancients. Who among the geniuses present had such a background? Moreover, they did not know that Jun Xiaoyao was the master of the imperial court. If they knew, they would be even more shocked. Jun Xiaoyao was the synonym of power. Only he dared to ignore the rules of the Emperor Road. No one dared to punish him. What an evil privileged class. Some of the geniuses gritted their teeth, but there was nothing they could do. This was the reality. Unleashing my full strength for 15 minutes? Not bad. Jun Xiaoyao did not hold back and kept it. Fairness and justice? That was just a trick to fool children. Only a bastard would not take advantage of the situation. The next few days were calm and peaceful. Nothing much happened. Yu Fuzi and the others restrained themselves and did not cause trouble for Jun Xiaoyao. However, it was obvious that an intense battle would break out once they entered the infernal star. Finally, about 7 or 8 days later, the infernal star in the distance shook again. All kinds of resentment, hatred, and other negative emotions boiled and turned into a bloody mist. Even though the dojo was some distance away from the infernal star, the geniuses could still feel the trembling. For a moment, some of the geniuses began to hesitate and wanted to retreat. All right, the teleportation formation will be activated. Once you step in, you will be teleported to every corner of the infernal star. The commander appeared and activated the teleportation formation in the dojo. Jun Xiaoyao, Mu Yuehan, the Golden-Winged Roc, and the others appeared. Yu Fuzi, the Void Sword Master, and the others also appeared. The third crown prince of the sea god glanced at Jun Xiaoyao coldly with a sinister look in his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was calm and composed. He completely ignored everyone's gaze. Let's go. Jun Xiaoyao stepped forward and was the first to enter the teleportation formation. The rest of the Sky Prides also stepped into the teleportation array. Jin Guxuan, Qing Hong, Hong Ling, the Cloaked Man, and the others also stepped into the formation. Of course, not all of the geniuses had the courage to do so. Some of the geniuses stayed behind. The Nine-Headed Lion and Kong Xian also stayed behind and did not enter the infernal star. Master, you must teach that long-haired bald donkey a lesson, the Nine-Headed Lion roared. Impossible. My Lord Arhat is truly invincible, Kong Xian retorted. Chapter 551. Humph, bitch. What do you know? The Nine-Headed Lion opened all 9 mouths and shouted at the same time. You! Kong Xian's eyes were cold. At that moment, the commander took out a bronze mirror. Moments later, the scene in every corner of the infernal star was reflected in the mirror. Of course, the only place that wasn't reflected was the legendary 19th level. There was a special and mysterious domain there. No artifacts or methods could see through it. Just in time. You can open your eyes and see how my master tortures the long-haired bald donkey, the Nine-Headed Lion shouted. Maybe you'll see the Jun family's son of God in a sorry state, Kong Xian retorted coldly. At that moment, the figure of an old man in white suddenly appeared in the void. When he saw the old man, the commander's eyelids twitched. He hurriedly cupped his hands and said, "Greetings, Lord Guardian." This old man was the guardian of Hulao Pass, Chongming Supreme. What? Even the Lord Guardian is here? Many of the Sky Prides below who didn't enter the infernal star were extremely surprised. Haha, I'm just a little curious and interested, Chongming Supreme said. It seems that the Lord Guardian is here for the Jun family's son of God, the commander thought to himself. If it weren't for Jun Xiaoyao, Chongming Supreme wouldn't have been interested in coming to the infernal star to watch the battle. Although Yu Fuzi and the other Sky Prides were strong, they couldn't arouse Chongming Supreme's interest. Not only did he enter the Bronze Celestial Palace, but he also came out alive and even controlled the palace. Jun family's son of God, will you create another impossible miracle this time? Chongming Supreme was curious. On a barren and desolate land in the infernal star, an ancient teleportation portal released a burst of light. Then, Jun Xiaoyao's figure flashed out of it. Is this the infernal star? Jun Xiaoyao looked over. The ground was dark red as if it was stained by blood. The mountain range was filled with desolation. It was like the white skeleton of an ancient ferocious beast, desolate and bleak. The ground was littered with white bones. Not only were there human cultivators, but there were also all kinds of creatures and alien races. This is indeed an ominous place, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. However, he had the sacred body of the ancients, which was a natural counter to all kinds of evil. Such a training ground was quite suitable for him. Jun Xiaoyao walked forward, and before long, he encountered a group of human devils unique to the infernal star. Before entering the infernal star, the commander had explained it to him. On the infernal star, due to the gathering of resentment, terrifying demonized creatures were formed, such as demons, demonic beasts, and so on. Generally speaking, sky demons, earth demons, and human demons were the main types of demonized creatures. Human demons roamed the surface of infernal star. Old demon? Living underground. As for the sky fiend? Was it a mass of demonic will without substance? However, this was often even more bizarre and terrifying. The group of human devils in front of him were covered in black scales. Their faces were ferocious, and their cultivation levels ranged from the Tao God realm to the quasi-saint realm. Jun Xiaoyao could kill such an existence with a flick of his finger. Between his fingers, the sword chi of the immortal slayer sword art burst out. It wiped out all the human devils in front of him. Immortal marrow is usually found underground, and rare immortal marrow veins are more likely to encounter sky demon emperors, earth demon emperors, and other existences. Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. Sky demon emperors? Earth demon emperors? Even among the sky demons and earth demons, boss-like existences, according to the commander, almost all of them had the combat power of a perfected saint. If he was unlucky, it was even possible to encounter a saint king. However, for Jun Xiaoyao, he was not afraid at all. His only goal was to obtain the immortal marrow and condense immortal qi. Next, Jun Xiaoyao began to look for the entrance to the underground. On the other side, Jade Fozi, the sword son of the void, the third prince of the sea god, and the others were also pushing forward. The human devils on the surface could not stop them at all. They also decided to think of a way to condense a second immortal qi before dealing with Jun Xiaoyao. Although the human devils on the surface could not pose the slightest hindrance to the elites of the small giants. However, if the other elites encountered them, they would also be entangled for a while, and might even die. Soon, there were casualties among the elites who entered the infernal star. Some of the elites were directly surrounded by a group of human devils, torn into pieces and devoured. On the other side of the dojo, the light screen formed by the bronze mirror showed a cruel scene. The rest of the elites who did not enter the infernal star turned pale, and fear lingered in their hearts. It seemed that sometimes being a little cowardly was not a bad thing. Look, the son of God of the Jun family has found the entrance! One of the elites suddenly exclaimed. Everyone's eyes were focused on that direction. On the infernal star, Jun Xiaoyao stopped in his tracks. In front of him, there was a bottomless pit that seemed to lead straight to hell. Waves of cold and eerie aura spread out, and a thick smell of blood rose up, making people flinch. Is this the entrance? Below should be the first level of the infernal star, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. The infernal star had a total of 18 levels from the surface to the top. As for the legendary 19th level, it should be the core of the infernal star. Perhaps the secret of the infernal star's formation was hidden there. One of the 7 wonders, the 19th level of the infernal star. If I have the chance, should I go in and take a look? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Just then, the system's voice sounded in his mind. Ding. Congratulations, host. New check-in location has been refreshed. Please check in at the 19th level of the infernal star. When Jun Xiaoyao heard that, he was a little embarrassed. System, do you want me to die so badly? These check-in locations were either the Burial Realm, the Bronze Divine Palace, or the 19th level of the infernal star. They were all places that resembled the netherworld. Did the system think that he was not courting death enough? The system serves the host wholeheartedly. It has no ill intentions, and it has no intention of killing the host, the system replied in a mechanical voice. All right, I believe you, Jun Xiaoyao said. He did not believe his own words. Of course, this was just a small interlude. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed interested in the legendary 19th level of the infernal star. Next, Jun Xiaoyao went down to the first level. After going down to the first level, Jun Xiaoyao's body seemed to have vaguely appeared a shackle. Jun Xiaoyao was able to sense that his physical powers had been suppressed by 1/10 as soon as the shackle appeared. Because he already knew, Jun Xiaoyao did not panic at all. With his physical strength, Even if it was reduced to 1/100th of his strength, he would still be far more powerful than a prodigy of the same level, let alone 1/10. Jun Xiaoyao continued to move forward. As he went deeper, he also encountered earth demons. These earth demons were more ferocious than human demons. They were like wild beasts. Of course, their strength was also stronger. The weakest of them was at the perfected Tao God realm. However, with Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation, he naturally swept through them. Along the way, he was also searching for immortal essence. At the same time, in another place underground, a black-robed man casually killed a group of earth demons. On the surface of his body, 2 wisps of immortal qi vaguely appeared. The second wisp of immortal qi was slightly illusory. That was enough to shock everyone. Such a cultivation level was enough to be called a small powerhouse. However, no one knew about him. Chapter 552. How is that possible? That black-robed cloaked man has the strength of a minor giant? At the dojo outside Infernal Star, some sky prides noticed the black-robed cloaked man through the bronze mirror's light screen. Even the chieftain was surprised. A sky pride like him should be as famous as Yu Fuzi, the Void Sword Master, and the Sea God's third prince. However, he kept a low profile and did not even reveal his appearance. Could he be sent by the outlawed sky prides on the ancient road of the ultimate path? Chong Ming Prime's eyes were deep. As the Imperial Pass Guardian, he was well aware of this. There were some monstrous sky prides who dominated the ancient road of the ultimate path. They were known as taboos and were destined to reach the end of the ancient road of the ultimate path. These outlawed sky prides, even if they were just followers, had the strength of a minor giant. Some outlawed sky prides also liked to send their followers to various ancient roads to gather information about the various sky prides and prepare for a rainy day. If he was not mistaken, this black-robed cloaked man should be an outlawed sky pride from the ancient road of the ultimate path who sent him to gather information. I wonder which outlawed sky pride sent him, but if he offends the Jun family's son of God. Chong Ming Prime clicked his tongue and shook his head. Even an outlawed sky pride would not have a good ending if they offended the Jun family's son of God. While everyone in the Infernal Star Dojo was in awe, the black-robed cloaked man pondered and said, "The Jun family's son of God hasn't fully matured yet. I heard that he hasn't even condensed his immortal qi. If I make a move now and eliminate him completely, I might be able to solve a problem for my master. However, he has a jade talisman that can temporarily lift the suppression. To be safe, it's not safe for me to do it alone. By the way, it seems like a few people have shown hostility towards the Jun family's son of God," the black-robed cloaked man mumbled to himself. A glint flashed across his eyes, and his figure flashed as he began to head elsewhere. On Jun Xiaoyao's side, he moved very quickly. In less than an hour, he found the entrance to the second level. He continued to go deeper, and another shackle appeared on his body. However, to Jun Xiaoyao, this kind of shackle was dispensable. Soon, after killing a group of earth demons, Jun Xiaoyao found a piece of jade essence that was full of immortal qi in a cave-like place. Was this chalcedony crystal clear? Surrounded by immortal energy, its pure energy was even purer than immortal sources. That's right, but what do I want? It's not just a piece of immortal marrow. Jun Xiaoyao put away the immortal marrow. To him, a piece of immortal essence? It was just a drop in the bucket. What he needed was an immortal marrow vein. However, it was clear that it was impossible for an immortal marrow vein to appear in the first few levels. At the very least, they had to go below the 10th floor. Jun Xiaoyao pushed forward as if he was going to penetrate the infernal star. It was sinking at an extremely fast speed. Many people in the Infernal Star Dojo were stunned. Jun Xiaoyao's speed? It was simply frightening. None of the demonized creatures were able to withstand even one round of attacks from him. Did you see that, bitch? Open your eyes wide. This is my master's strength. the nine-headed lion said smugly. As for Kong Xian, she was silent. There was stubbornness in her eyes. She believed that Jade Fozzie was not weaker than Jun Xiaoyao. That was the truth. Jade Fozzie and the others' speed? Although they were not as fast as Jun Xiaoyao, they were definitely not slow. In another place, Jin Guxuan, who was a supreme Dao metal spirit, had already reached the 7th floor. Because he was a Dao metal spirit, the limitations of his physical body did not affect him much. His physical body was already stronger than most of the geniuses. After killing a group of earth demons, he suddenly seemed to have sensed something. He turned around and said coldly, "Who is it?" The black-robed cloaked figure appeared in the cavern behind him. "Well, you are. I'll get straight to the point. Are you interested in killing the son of God of the Jun family together?" said the black-robed cloaked figure. Killing the son of God of the Jun family? Jin Guxuan frowned slightly. Although Jun Xiaoyao had killed his fellow Daoist, the spirit of metal spirit stone, Jin Guxuan's strength was not weak. However, Jun Xiaoyao's powers were there for all to see. He also had a jade talisman that allowed him to ignore the suppression of domains. It would not be easy to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Seeing Jin Guxuan's hesitation, the black-robed cloaked figure trembled slightly. The aura of a saint of small perfection spread out. At the same time, 2 strands of immortal qi appeared. One of them was the embryonic form of immortal qi. How is this possible? Little tycoon, who are you? Jin Guxuan was also shocked. He was very surprised. You don't need to know. Just say yes or no, the black-robed cloaked figure said lightly. Okay, if you are confident. Jin Guxuan agreed immediately. Very well. Now let's find the others. The black-robed cloaked figure sneered. Then, he went to find Qi Hong, Hong Ling and the others. They were the followers of Long Shuhuang and Huang Jiyan. Strictly speaking, they were also on the opposite side of Jun Xiaoyao. They were also hesitant at first, but after seeing the black-robed cloaked figure's cultivation, they agreed without hesitation. As for Yu Fuzi and the others, they had already gone deeper to look for immortal marrow veins to condense immortal qi. Besides, they were too proud to join forces with others. About 7 or 8 days later, Jun Xiaoyao had arrived at the 14th level of the infernal star. At this level, his physical body and dermic power were suppressed to 4/10, and his primordial spirit was also suppressed by 2/10. What rich spirit qi! The immortal marrow vein should be ahead. Jun Xiaoyao strolled leisurely. In such a dangerous place, it was as if he was taking a stroll in his own backyard. As for the restriction of domains, it did not affect him much at all. In the cavern ahead, immortal light surged like a tide. Jun Xiaoyao looked over and saw a crystal-clear immortal marrow vein that stretched for a few miles. Although it was not very long, one had to know that even a piece of immortal marrow was extremely precious. And now, there was an immortal marrow vein that was a few miles long. Of course, although the opportunity was precious, there were also many earth demons around the immortal marrow vein. Otherwise, Jun Xiaoyao also felt a few powerful auras. Demon Emperors? Jun Xiaoyao said. Fresh blood food again. 3 terrifying figures appeared. Each of them had the cultivation of a perfected saint. They were the 3 Earth Demon Emperors. In addition, there were hundreds and thousands of Earth demons densely packed together. There are some small problems, but no problem. Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferent. He took out the myriad qi cauldron and the slaughter began. In the Infernal Star Dojo, when they saw Jun Xiaoyao facing the 3 Earth Demon Emperors and many Earth Demons alone, even the 9-headed lion did not speak. His heart was in his throat. One had to know that the current Jun Xiaoyao was in a state of being suppressed by domains. Although he had a jade talisman, it was an emergency life-saving item. It only lasted for 15 minutes. Just as everyone was nervously watching, they also saw a shocking scene. It's over. The son of God of the Jun family is really in danger now. Chapter 553. At the edge of the immortal essence or vein, looking at the 3 earth demonic sovereigns and the numerous earth demons that were charging towards him, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. Currently, although his physical strength and magic power were suppressed by 60%, and his primordial spirit power was also suppressed by 20%. However, he had the title of the strongest sage in history. Although these earth demonic sovereigns were powerful, they were clearly not enough to threaten Jun Xiaoyao's life. Jun Xiaoyao activated the myriad qi cauldron and pressed it forward. Strands of myriad qi cauldron were enough to crush a mountain range. Those earth demons did not even have the time to scream before they were crushed into a bloody pulp. The 3 earth demonic sovereigns roared as they charged towards Jun Xiaoyao, and a terrifying bloody aura surged towards him. Unlike Jun Xiaoyao, the strength of these earth demonic sovereigns was not suppressed. Jun Xiaoyao's palm drew a mysterious trajectory, and like a koan pung swinging its tail, it swept towards the earth demonic sovereigns. Ripples were set off in the void, and patches of Tao patterns surged out like huge wave. Bang! The 3 earth demonic sovereigns were actually pushed back at the same time, and their bloodthirsty scarlet eyes revealed some trembling. Obviously, they had never encountered a human cultivator who was still so powerful despite being suppressed. They are just some demonic creatures that were corrupted by resentment. The winner takes all. What's there to complain about? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. Survival of the fittest was the law of the world. Wasn't it normal for the weak to shed blood in the Emperor's road? Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, the 3 earth demonic sovereigns seemed to be even more furious, and they continued to charge towards Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao executed the Kuan Peng mystique with one hand and the Thunder Emperor mystique with the other. His left hand transformed into the Kuan Peng mystique, and its mighty power seemed to have cracked the void in front of him. On his right hand, he executed the Thunder Emperor finger. Lightning twined around it, and it was as strong as Yang, destroying all evil. Boom! Under Jun Xiaoyao's attack, the 3 powerful earth demonic sovereigns were completely crushed, and they let out miserable cries. Die! Jun Xiaoyao activated the myriad qi cauldron and slammed it down. A loud smack was heard. The 3 earth demon emperors were directly turned into blood foam. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. He seemed to have noticed something, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. As for Yang Kai himself, he did not reveal any abnormalities and continued to kill the remaining earth demons. A moment later, all the earth demons were killed. Jun Xiaoyao heaved a sigh of relief. Let's refine this immortal quintessence mine. With that, he sat down cross-legged and began to meditate. And it was also at this moment. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind blew. Wisps of blood mist filled the cave. An invisible wave of telekinesis directly rushed into the mind of Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. Other than the 3 earth devil emperors, there was also a heavenly devil emperor in this immortal marrow mine. The celestial devil emperor was formless and formless. He was an extremely terrifying devil will that could kill people without them noticing. Even if he was a heaven's pride at the level of a small magnate? If one was not careful and was taken advantage of, it was possible that one's Tao heart would collapse, and they would directly fall into madness. And at this moment, in Jun Xiaoyao's mind, endless resentment erupted, as if there were countless vengeful spirits of fallen prodigies. They were howling in his ears. In Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit of 3 lives? At this moment there was a movement. The primordial spirit sitting cross-legged on the Tao flower suddenly opened his eyes with cold contempt. What can mere resentment do to me? With that, endless golden light soared into the sky. A vast ancient Buddha appeared. It was the Mahavairakana cultivated by the Tathagata Sutra. The Mahavairakana appeared? The celestial devil emperor's vengeful spirit screamed? Like spring snow, it began to melt rapidly. Although the power of Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was suppressed by 20%, But his primordial spirit was the primordial spirit of 3 lives. And it had absorbed the will of the immortal ancient world before? Its soul power was vast and boundless, far surpassing that of saints of the same level. However, looking at it from the outside, Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was frowning as if he was struggling with something. This is a good chance. At this moment, an aura burst out from the darkness in the distance. 4 silhouettes shot out like arrows, casting their spells at Jun Xiaoyao, who had his eyes closed. They were the black-robed man, Jin Guxuan, Hong Ling, and Qing Hong. They had been searching all the way here under the guidance of the black-robed man. Hong Ling, Qing Hong, and the others hesitated when they saw Jun Xiaoyao still crushing the 3 Earth Devil Emperors despite being suppressed. They did not dare to make a move. However, to their surprise, Jun Xiaoyao, who was about to refine the immortal marrow vein, was attacked by the celestial devil emperors. This was a great opportunity to eliminate Jun Xiaoyao. If they did not make a move, they would be wasting this God-given opportunity. Therefore, they did not hesitate to attack with their strongest moves. They wanted to join forces and kill Jun Xiaoyao once and for all. However, just as the 4 of them were about to land their attacks on Jun Xiaoyao's expression suddenly became calm. His eyelids slowly opened. His eyes were as cold as the stars in the sky. "Oh no, it's a trap!" Jin Guxuan could not help but yell. Hong Ling and Qing Hong were also stunned. They did not expect this to happen at all. Those were the celestial devil emperors. Even if they were small giants, if their primordial spirits were invaded, they would at least be in a daze and struggle in the chaos. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not seem to be affected at all. How is this possible? The sacred body of the ancients is unparalleled, but the primordial spirit can't be this strong. The black-robed man was also very surprised. Although the rats hiding in the dark are not a threat, they are still annoying. It's better to kill them. Jun Xiaoyao threw a punch. The shadow of a Kuan Peng appeared, sometimes turning into a Kuan, sometimes into a Peng. It had the power to strike the 9 heavens and suppress the 9 underworlds. This was a manifestation of the Kuan Peng's grand magic, called the Kuan Peng Infinite Divine Punch. "Ah no! Master Huang Zhiyan will not let you go," Qing Hong and Hong Ling screamed. Obviously, they could not withstand this move. "Long Huang and Huang Zhiyan, when I have time, I will definitely go ahead and take their lives." Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. With one punch, not to mention Qing Hong and Hong Ling. Even Jin Guxuan, a cultivator who'd turned Dao metal into a spirit, was blasted to pieces by the punch. However, Jun Xiaoyao was slightly surprised to see that. The black-robed man was not killed instantly. An illusory bell appeared on the surface of his body, barely resisting Jun Xiaoyao's attack. However, it was just barely. The black robe on the surface of his body was torn by the impact, revealing his bronze body. This is... Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were filled with surprise. He was somewhat familiar with this illusory bell. Previously in the eternal burial ground, the incomplete ancient tyrant body of the heavens Chu Tianba had also used this move. It was one of the 9 great godly forms of the tyrant body, the great Bell Taoist form. Tyrant body of the heavens. No, it's not the tyrant body of the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly. He had expected this before, but he did not expect to meet someone related to the tyrant body of the heavens. "Who are you?" Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. Fortunately, Master gave me a drop of blood. Sacred body of the ancients, what a sacred body of the ancients. The man's qi and blood were majestic, and his eyes were filled with fear. He turned around and wanted to escape. "Master." Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent as he reached out with his palm. There was a bang. The man could not withstand Jun Xiaoyao's attack at all. He spat out another mouthful of blood, and his internal organs were almost shattered. "Your master is the tyrant body of the heavens?" Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Cough. Just you wait, son of God of the June family. My master is destined to dominate this era. When you step on the ancient ultimate road and meet my master, it will be the time of your death. The man shouted crazily, and his eyes were filled with fanatical worship. It was worship for his master. Don't worry. You will see your master in the underworld soon. Jun Xiaoyao slammed his palm down. Even though the man tried his best to resist and even brought out his divine qi, he was still killed by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. A drop of blood can make this person manifest some of the tyrant body of the heavens' abilities. Could it be that the king of the tyrant body that Chu Tianba mentioned, the tyrant body, has appeared? Jun Xiaoyao wondered. However, he immediately shook his head. No matter what the tyrant body was, it was nothing to him. He had already forged an invincible mind, and he was not afraid of any challenge. If the tyrant body really wants to die, I don't mind putting an end to the feud between the sacred body and the tyrant body. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. That tyrant body was the king of the tyrant body. However, Jun Xiaoyao also had a complete sacred body of the ancients that had broken 10 shackles. It could be said that the two of them were the representatives of the most perfect physique. This was the ultimate battle between the peak of the sacred body and the peak of the tyrant body. Chapter 554. Jun Xiaoyao didn't think too much about the overlord. After all, when the time came for him to step onto the ancient road of ultimate, he would naturally run into him. If the overlord didn't know what was good for him, Jun Xiaoyao didn't mind completely cutting off the overlord's bloodline. Let's refine this immortal marrow vein first, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. He activated the divine elephant overpowering force and brought out the heaven and earth furnace. At the same time, he activated the god-devouring demonic art. The two types of devouring and refining abilities erupted, and the immortal marrow vein began to be absorbed by Jun Xiaoyao at a crazy rate. An embryonic form of immortal qi appeared on the surface of his body. This half-illusory embryonic form of immortal qi became more and more solid as the immortal marrow vein was absorbed. At this moment, everyone who saw this scene in the training hall was dumbfounded. They all thought that Jun Xiaoyao was in mortal danger, and that he might be in great danger. Who would have thought that Jun Xiaoyao would have been able to neutralize such a dangerous situation with ease? As expected of the son of God of the Jun family, I thought that he would activate the Jade Seal. The commander also sighed. "Ha, stinky woman, did you see that?" Seeing this, the 9-headed lion wagged his tail and beamed with joy. Kong Xian's face was gloomy, and she didn't say anything. Then, she suddenly saw the scene on the light screen, and her eyes suddenly burst with joy. Master Arhat also found an immortal marrow vein. He is about to condense his second strand of immortal qi. Kong Xian shouted in surprise. Everyone had been paying attention to Jun Xiaoyao, and now they saw that Jade Arhat, the sword master of the void, the third prince of the sea god, and the others had each found an immortal marrow vein and were condensing their second strand of immortal qi. Master Arhat is about to condense his second strand of immortal qi, while Jun Xiaoyao is only condensing his first strand of immortal qi. Who is stronger and who is weaker? Kong Xian's expression returned to normal, and she sneered at the 9-headed lion. The 9-headed lion grinned, and there was a trace of embarrassment on its face. Then, it said unyieldingly, "So what? Immortal energy doesn't represent everything. You won't cry until you see the coffin. Let's wait and see." Kong Xian's face was full of anticipation. She wanted to see Yu Fuzi suppress Jun Xiaoyao. The trials continued throughout the infernal star. In such a short period of time, more than half of the geniuses who had entered the infernal star had died. Most of the remaining Sky Prides were also active above the 10th level. They didn't dare to go below the 10th level. Only Jun Xiaoyao and the others? Only then would he be able to go in without any scruples. In another immortal quintessence vein, Jade Fozi sat cross-legged. There was a Buddhist light shining around him. His temperament was transcendent, like a handsome Buddha carved from jade. Suddenly, at a certain moment, Jade Fozzie sensed something? He said indifferently, "Come out." Ahead, a valiant figure appeared. Loose blonde hair? It was the golden-winged roc. Golden-winged roc? I have no grudge against you. See who it was? Jade Fozzie said indifferently. I don't care what method you used to bewitch Kong Xian, but you don't deserve to be her master. The golden-winged roc's eyes flashed coldly. Jade Fozzie chuckled and shook his head. Everyone is bewitched by love? Even the heir of the golden-winged roc is no exception. Since that's the case, let me enlighten you. It's not that simple. The golden-winged roc attacked without hesitation. He spread his wings. 100,000 sword feathers shot out. At the same time, the shadow of a Kuan Peng seemed to appear behind him. It wasn't a Kuan Peng's grand divine power, but a mysterious transformation after the golden-winged roc refined the Kuan Peng true blood. Oh, no wonder you're so confident. So it's Jun Xiaoyao who gave you the Kuan Peng true blood. Jade Fozzie was slightly surprised to see this, but his expression remained calm. He also made a move and blasted out a hand. His palm was like gold, shining with Buddhist light. A swastika appeared, carrying with it a vast aura. The golden-winged roc whistled, and 100,000 sword feathers gathered, forming a golden divine sword that slashed horizontally. The two of them collided with each other. Outside, Kong Xian had a complicated look on her face as she watched the scene on the screen. She knew that the golden-winged roc had attacked Jade Fozzie because of her. But then, she shook her head and muttered to herself, "Golden-winged roc, you're too naive. Not everyone can challenge the Fozzie." In her heart, Jade Fozzie was the most powerful and paramount existence. The golden-winged little roc king against Jade Fozzie was like an egg striking a rock. But that was the truth. After only a few dozen rounds, the golden-winged roc was on the verge of collapsing. He roared at the sky, his golden hair dancing in the wind, and an embryonic form of immortal chi appeared on the surface of his body. Jade Fozzie shook his head, and a jade-green immortal chi appeared on the surface of his body as well. It was the Bodhi immortal chi formed by his Bodhi Buddha heart. Jade Fozzie pressed down with the Bodhi immortal chi and said calmly, "The golden-winged roc has a deep relationship with the Buddha. You can be my protector in the future." Boom! The blow landed, and the golden-winged roc was sent flying, spitting out blood. Jade Fozzie murmured and used the expiation technique. The majestic Buddhist voice resounded in all directions. The golden-winged roc held his head and screamed. But after a while, he stopped struggling. His face was expressionless, and there was only numbness in his eyes. "Master." The golden-winged roc's voice was emotionless. "Heh. You will be my protector outside." Jade Fozzie smiled. "Yes." The golden-winged roc nodded slightly. Outside the dojo, outside the infernal star, many sky prides felt their scalps go numb. The expiation technique of the Little Western Paradise was too strange. "Do you think the Son of God of the Jun family will be expiated as well?" "I'm not sure, but the Son of God of the Jun family's primordial spirit cultivation is not weak either." Many people were speculating. Time passed by slowly. Jade Fozzie, the Sword Master of the Void, and the third Prince of the Sea God each used an immortal marrow vein to condense a second immortal chi. Their strength had skyrocketed, and they had stepped into the ranks of the top sky prides of the Emperor Road. "Let's go deeper. I want to see what the 18th level looks like." The three little tycoons all chose to go deeper into the forest. Not only did their strength skyrocket, but they also had jade talismans that made them immune to the domain suppression for 15 minutes, so they were not worried about encountering any danger. At about the same time, Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting cross-legged on the immortal marrow vein, suddenly trembled. The entire immortal marrow vein had been absorbed by him. The half-illusory immortal chi prototype on the surface of his body had finally completely condensed into a real immortal chi of the void. "It's finally done." The fourth immortal Qi. Jun Xiaoyao let out a deep breath. Everyone thought that this was the first immortal Qi he had condensed. Little did they know that this was the fourth immortal Qi Jun Xiaoyao had condensed. Let's continue. Jun Xiaoyao went on his way again. Not only did he want to go to the 19th level of the infernal star, but he also wanted to take care of the three little figureheads. Chapter 555. The few sky prides who were still on infernal star were all quite capable. However, those prodigies only dared to train above the 10th level. They didn't dare to go deeper. Meanwhile, on the 18th level of Hellstar, the 18th level of Hellstar really did look like hell. Infernal flames burned everywhere, as if they'd arrived at the Earth's core. The domain suppression here had reached its limit. Any geniuses who landed on this level would be suppressed to only 40% of their strength. A golden Buddha palm struck out, killing a group of earth demons in front of it. It was Jade Fuozi. He'd never killed anyone, but those earth demons weren't humans, strictly speaking. The golden-winged rock followed beside Jade Fuozi with a numb expression. I sensed an immortal marrow vein. No, it's even rarer than the average one. Could it be? Jade Fuozi's eyes twinkled. He recalled a rumor that there might be an immortal marrow king in human form on the 18th level of Hellstar. It was just like the Gungjin rock spirit and Jin Guxuan, who'd been transformed from divine metal and Tao metal. Strictly speaking, immortal marrow was also a rare and precious treasure, and it was possible for it to take human form. If they could really find an immortal marrow king, it would be invaluable whether they refined it, branded it, or nurtured it. Even someone as calm as Jade Fuozi couldn't help but feel his breathing quicken. He and the enlightened golden-winged rock continued deeper. About 2 hours later, the spiritual qi up ahead suddenly thickened. Jade Fuozi gathered his power in his eyes and looked ahead. There was an immortal marrow vein ahead. However, this immortal marrow vein was a few times bigger than the immortal marrow vein he had seen before. The immortal qi was dense, and wisps of it were scattered in the air. In the depths of the vein was a translucent jade cocoon. One could vaguely make out the petite figure of Ling Long, curled up like a baby in its mother's womb. The entire vein's power was converging on the jade cocoon, as if it was gathering all of its power. It was giving birth to a shocking existence. That's the immortal marrow king. Jade Fuozi could no longer hide the fire in his eyes. Even with his state of mind as a dhyana cultivator, at this moment great waves were stirring. That was a rare king of immortal marrow, priceless. Perhaps it was because of the birth of the immortal marrow king, but there were no traces of earth demons around. Jade Fuozi took a few steps forward. Another direction? Was there the sound of waves? A person wearing the Seven Seas Flood Dragon armor? The figure holding the Sea King's trident appeared. It was the Sea God's third prince. Did he also cultivate 2 strands of immortal qi? At this moment, his aura was extremely strong. When he saw the king of immortal marrow, his eyes shone brightly. At the same time, in another cave nearby, the power of space vibrated, and a figure broke through the air. It was the swordsman of the void. The 3 little giants all sensed the fluctuations of the king of immortal marrow and gathered here. It seems that we have locked onto the same target. The Void Sword Master looked around and said lightly. Then is Jun Xiaoyao still coming? Don't tell me he doesn't even have the strength to enter the 18th level? The Sea God's third prince's eyes were cold. What else was he planning? To settle things with Jun Xiaoyao on the infernal star. What if he shows up? We'll just suppress him, Jade Fuozi said calmly. You didn't expect this? You actually converted the golden-winged rock. Looking at the expressionless golden-winged rock beside Jade Fuozi, the Void Sword Master and the Sea God's third prince's eyes were filled with a hint of fear. Jade Fuozi's conversion technique? It was indeed strange and frightening. I want the king of immortal marrow. I wonder if the 2 of you can compromise? I'll compensate you. The Void Sword Master shook his head. Don't say such polite words. Let's see who's stronger. The king of immortal marrow was so precious that even supremes would be tempted by it, let alone these geniuses who wanted to condense immortal chi. If they could get the king of immortal marrow, condensing a few more strands of immortal chi wouldn't be impossible. Enough talk. Let's fight. The sea god's third prince shook the sea king's trident in his hand. The three of them had nothing else to say. They attacked at the same time. Magic power vibrated, and the void trembled. Even if they were suppressed to only 40% of their strength, the power that the three of them unleashed was still shocking. The battle began. None of the three sides gave way. Terrifying magic power ripples spread out and swept in all directions. The battle was extremely fierce. The aftershocks shook the translucent jade cocoon, causing cracks to appear. Then, all the spiritual energy in the entire immortal pith vein gathered towards the translucent jade cocoon. Jade Fozy and the other two watched from the corners of their eyes. Cracks spread out on the surface of the translucent jade cocoon. Soon after, the petite and exquisite figure inside was revealed before their eyes. She looked to be about 7 or 8 years old. Her body was covered in a dress woven from energy. She had a head of long silver hair. Her face was tender and cute, and her eyelashes were long and curly. Her features were delicate and pretty. Perhaps it was because she was immortal marrow, but her skin was as smooth as snow, and she exuded a fragrance and spirit chi. She was like a moving ginseng fruit. The king of immortal marrow in human form. Jade Fozy and the other two's eyes lit up when they saw the little girl. They could sense that if they refined this girl, they would definitely be able to condense new immortal chi. Golden-winged rock, capture her. Jade Fozy's eyes flashed. The golden-winged rock flapped its wings and flew toward the little girl. The little girl had just been born. Clearly, she didn't have a mature mind like Jin Guxuan and the Gengjin rock spirit. However, she could also instinctively sense a sense of danger. Don't eat me!" the little girl cried weakly. Whoosh! A sword ray appeared and blocked the golden-winged rock's path. "That king of immortal marrow is mine." The one who attacked was the sword master of the void. There was no way he was going to let Jade Fozy take the king of immortal marrow. The place fell into chaos once again. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the little lowly formed from the immortal marrow moved her slender legs and ran into the distance. Just as Jade Fozy and the others were about to stop her with a thud, the little lowly seemed to have bumped into a wall. She fell to the ground and covered her forehead with her hand. She didn't understand why there was something blocking her path. That's... Jade Fozy and the others were startled. They were able to clearly sense that there was a powerful sealing power that had sealed off their surroundings. What's going on? There wasn't any formation around when we came in? While the three of them were puzzled, faint footsteps came from the cave in the distance. A peerless figure in white slowly walked over and stood in front of the little girl. The little lowly raised her head and saw a face that was as handsome as a celestial being's. The perfect aura he was emitting made the little girl want to get closer to him. After all, she was close to perfection in the form of immortal marrow. Therefore, it was natural for her to want to get closer to someone who was even more perfect. Oh? The king of immortal marrow in human form? How lucky! The person who appeared was naturally Jun Xiaoyao. Chapter 556. Jun Xiaoyao sized up the little girl in front of him. Her dense spiritual qi was enough to make anyone who smelled it feel like they were about to ascend to the heavens. You want to eat me too? I don't taste good. I don't have any meat." The little girl's petite body trembled slightly. "Stay here and don't move." Jun Xiaoyao glanced at her indifferently, then looked away. He had just condensed his fourth strand of immortal qi, so he wasn't in a hurry to refine the king of immortal marrow. Besides, he still had some problems to deal with. Hearing this, the little girl hugged her knees and sat on the ground. She couldn't escape from the second seal of the immortal prohibition seal. Jun Xiaoyao. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao arrive, The third prince of the sea god's eyes shot out cold murderous intent. The sword son of the void's eyes burned with a burning desire to fight. Jun Xiaoyao had something on him that he needed. As for Yu Fuozi, he was smiling, but he was also gathering his magical power. Clearly, he also wanted to fight. In an instant, the three little giants all targeted Jun Xiaoyao. This scene was also witnessed by the geniuses at the dojo. Heavens, that's the king of immortal marrow in human form. It's enough to make the top geniuses bleed. The son of God of the Jun family is going against the three little giants. This is going to be interesting. But I don't think the three little giants will team up against the son of God of the Jun family. That would be too degrading. Many people were discussing. Kong Xian's eyes were filled with anticipation. She was looking forward to Jade Fuozi suppressing Jun Xiaoyao and avenging her. Humph, the more hopeful you are now, the more disappointed you will be when the time comes. The 9 heads of the 9-headed lion snorted in unison. It also worshipped Jun Xiaoyao unconditionally. On the 18th level of the infernal star, the third prince of the sea god's trident was the first to move. He shook the Sea King's trident in his hand, and dermic powers swept out like a vast ocean toward Jun Xiaoyao. Now that there was no one to stop him, he could go all out. Jade Fuozi and the sword Son of the Void didn't attack immediately. At their level, besieging someone was a little unreasonable. Seeing the sea god's third prince's attack coming, Jun Xiaoyao still reached out with his bare hands, wanting to grab the Sea King's trident. You still want to use this move? Seeing Jun Xiaoyao looking down on him, the sea god's third prince's hair fluttered wildly, and his saint stage strength erupted. Although he was suppressed by the domain, his aura was still very shocking. All sorts of water-type Dao patterns intertwined, seemingly turning this place into a sea. Clang! Jun Xiaoyao caught the Sea King's trident with his bare hands as intense sparks flew out. The sea god has awakened. The sea god's third prince let out a long howl. The sea god's bloodline in his body was boiling, and the space around him was shaking. The Sea King's trident seemed to have sensed something as well, and mysterious golden patterns appeared on its surface. Divine power burst forth and shattered Jun Xiaoyao's palm. Oh? The sea god's bloodline. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly, but his expression was still indifferent. The sea god was also a mythical emperor. Just like the one-armed Nether King, Gulan True Lord, and other mythical emperors, he was once a god worshipped by all living creatures in the ocean. However, the sea god's bloodline in the sea god's third prince was similar to the Nether King's bloodline in the Nether King's body. Both were very thin, and could not be considered a true bloodline inheritance. Even so, it was enough for the sea god's third prince to make a name for himself in Emperor Road. Unfortunately, he encountered Jun Xiaoyao. Even a god has to bow before me? What's more, you're just a mixed-blood descendant, Jun Xiaoyao said, reaching out with his palm, drawing a mysterious arc in the air. It was like a Koan Pung leaping into the sea. Koan Pung's superpower. The sea god's third prince gritted his teeth. This was the superpower he had been dreaming of. Bang! A single collision? Jun Xiaoyao used 100,000 divine elephant granules? He activated the Kuan Pung superpower. Both the divine elephant and Kuan Pung were synonymous with divine power. The power was enough to sink the ground. Splat! The sea god's third prince felt an unparalleled divine power reverberating through the Sea King's trident, causing him to spit out blood. Even the 7 seas serpent armor could not protect him. Sea god strike. While the sea god's third prince was injured, the Sea King's trident stabbed toward Jun Xiaoyao's chest. He wanted to trade injury for injury. However, Jun Xiaoyao's body surface? Dragon chi surging? A silver dragon armor with a rainbow luster appeared on the surface of his body. It was the rainbow sacred dragon armor. Its defensive power surpassed the sea god's third prince's 7 seas serpent armor. Clang! The Sea King's trident could not break through the rainbow sacred dragon armor's defense. Die. Jun Xiaoyao did not want to waste any more time. He threw out a punch, intending to kill the sea god's third prince. Seeing this, the sea god's third prince roared, "Jun Xiaoyao, don't be so smug. You don't have what I have." With that, a streak of sky-blue immortal qi suddenly appeared on the surface of his body. In an instant, the rules of water flowed, and the void was filled with immortal light and Tao patterns. This was a streak of immortal qi that the sea god's third prince had condensed with his own sea god bloodline. Is that all? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. A streak of golden immortal qi mixed with the color of blood also appeared on the surface of his body. It was a streak of immortal qi. The sea god's third prince was not surprised to see this streak of immortal qi. He sneered, as expected, "It seems that you've also found an immortal marrow vein. However, this is not all I have." With that, a second streak of immortal qi appeared on the surface of the sea god's third prince's body. Just like Yu Fuzi and the sword master of the void, he had already condensed 2 streaks of immortal qi. He was stronger than the average big shot. "Jun Xiaoyao, can you still laugh?" The sea god's third prince had a carefree look on his face. "Even if you're the high and mighty son of God of the Jun family, you'll fall behind others if you miss the best opportunity. 2 streaks of immortal qi. This is what you're relying on." Jun Xiaoyao's expression was not as shocked as the sea god's third prince had expected. A second streak of immortal qi also appeared on the surface of his body. It was as thick as the heavens and earth. It was the immortal qi condensed from the origin qi of all things. This. The sea god's third prince was stunned. Yu Fuzi and the sword master of the void, who were watching from the side, were also stunned. They felt that things had gone beyond their expectations. "Is that not enough?" "I have more," said Jun Xiaoyao. Another streak of immortal qi with the will of reincarnation appeared on the surface of his body. It was the immortal qi of reincarnation that he'd condensed after comprehending the power of reincarnation. None of them saw the look of shock on Jun Xiaoyao's face. As a result, they were all shocked by what they saw. No, they were shocked. They were a little frightened. "Not enough. It's okay. I have more." Another streak of immortal qi appeared on the surface of Jun Xiaoyao's body. The 4th streak of immortal qi appeared in the air. Crack! The sea god's third prince's hand trembled. The Sea King's trident fell to the ground. The sword master of the void could no longer remain calm. His eyes almost popped out of their sockets. As for Yu Fuzi, the smile on his face completely disappeared for the first time. It was replaced by a stiff expression of disbelief and astonishment. 4 streaks of immortal qi? The 3 little authorities were completely dumbfounded. Didn't they say that Jun Xiaoyao had not condensed a single streak of immortal qi before? Where did the immortal qi come from? And there were 4 streaks of it at once. It was terrifying. Meanwhile, on the Void Dojo outside Infernal Star, all the geniuses who were watching the show fell silent. Even Chong Ming Supreme and the commander who were watching the show had interesting looks on their faces. Kong Xian's expression changed like never before. It was as if she had seen the most shocking and unbelievable scene. Chapter 557. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? 4 strands of immortal qi? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right, 4 strands of immortal qi. In the Void Dojo outside the Infernal Star, everyone was dumbfounded as they watched the scene unfold on the screen. 4 strands of immortal qi. That had never happened on the Emperor Road before. Perhaps an outlawed Sky Pride with 4 strands of immortal qi would appear at the end of the Emperor Road. However, the problem was that the Emperor Road had only been opened for a little over 2 years. Even Yi Guqin, who was ranked first on the Baron Sky Saint leaderboard, had yet to condense 4 strands of immortal qi. What the F***ck? Isn't Master a little too powerful? The 9-headed lion jumped up in shock. Jun Xiaoyao's move had shocked everyone. How can this be? If he has 4 strands of immortal qi, why didn't he show them before? Kong Xian's soul seemed to have been sucked out of her body as the light in her beautiful eyes disappeared. TSK, maybe Master doesn't want to show them. After all, not everyone is qualified to make Master release 4 strands of immortal qi. The 9-headed lion was getting more and more smug. As expected of the son of God of the Jun family. He's really good at hiding his moves. Chong Ming Prime was also very impressed. He had only come to watch the show, but now, he was also shocked. He recalled the terrifying battle record of Jun Xiaoyao killing 100 saints with 1 cauldron during the Battle of the Immortals in the Huangtian mystic realm. Chong Ming Prime suddenly felt that Yu Fuzi and the others were in for a tragedy. Meanwhile, on the 18th level of the Infernal Star, looking at Jun Xiaoyao with 4 strands of immortal qi around his body, the sea god's 3rd prince trembled violently. You? How is this possible? The sea god's 3rd prince could not believe it. Jun Xiaoyao had only been on the Emperor Road for a short while. How could he have condensed 4 strands of immortal qi? Could it be that he had already condensed more than 1 strand of immortal qi before he stepped onto the Emperor Road? The sea god's 3rd prince was even more shocked at this thought. He could not believe it. He was not the only one. Yu Fuzi and the Sword Master of the Void were also shocked. His heart was filled with shock. As for the little loli who was standing at the side, she stared at the immortal qi condensed from the myriad qi on Jun Xiaoyao's body, and saliva flowed down from the corner of her mouth. Want. The little loli mumbled, a look of longing appearing in her sparkling eyes. This son of God has already said that with your shallow thinking? Trying to figure out the abilities of this son of God is truly laughable. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. He was simple? He struck out with his palm. 4 streaks of celestial qi were imbued into his palm, and it was as if the entire sky was crashing down, bringing with it the power of 4 different attributes. The pinnacle of physical body? Myriad qi, the power of reincarnation? Void energy. What if this palm came down? Immortal radiance surged, and the ground within 100,000 feet would be directly sunk. The sea god's 3rd prince also pushed his strength to the limit. He held the Sea King's trident in his hand. 2 strands of immortal qi wrapped around it, and it pierced through the void. Boom! An earth-shattering collision? It was as if the entire 18th level of Hell Star was trembling. The sea god's 3rd prince only felt a vast and unparalleled power. It rushed toward him along the Sea King's trident. His halberd-wielding arm directly exploded? His body flew backward? The 7 seas serpent dragon armor on his body cracked from the impact. The sea god's 3rd prince was severely injured in one blow. This was a genius at the level of a minor tycoon. But now, he was lying on the ground like a dead dog, spitting blood non-stop. Attack! Jade Fozi and the Sword Master of the Void attacked at the same time. They weren't pedantic people who believed in fair and just duels. Now that they saw Jun Xiaoyao release 4 streaks of immortal qi, they didn't care about their status and dignity anymore. They attacked together. 2 streaks of immortal qi appeared on the surface of Jade Fozi and the Sword Master of the Void. One of them formed a Buddhist seal, while the other shot out sword radiance toward Jun Xiaoyao. Good timing. This is what makes it interesting. Jun Xiaoyao didn't panic when he saw this, and calmly responded. In the dojo, Kong Xian was dumbfounded when she saw this. How is this possible? Why would Lord Fozi team up with others? In Kong Xian's mind, Jade Fozi had always been an invincible existence with absolute confidence. But now, he didn't hesitate to team up with others to fight Jun Xiaoyao. This made Kong Xian's belief in herself crumble bit by bit. On the 18th level of Hell Star, Jun Xiaoyao used the Kuanping's Grand Technique with one hand and the Thunder Emperor's Grand Technique with the other. At the same time, he was supported by 4 streaks of immortal qi. Like an invincible god of war, he swept in all directions. Lightning interwove into a destructive net that enveloped the two. At the same time, the shadow of a Kuanping appeared. With a flick of its tail, the void exploded. Boom, boom, boom. Continuous explosions resounded throughout the 18th level of Infernal Star. Jun Xiaoyao was like a deity that had been banished to the mortal world, wielding the supreme power of the universe. Every move he made caused the world to crumble. Cough. Jade Fozi and the Sword Master of the Void both retreated at the same time. Their eyes were filled with unprecedented shock. They attacked at the same time, but instead of suppressing Jun Xiaoyao, they were suppressed. Ananda Buddha Seal. Jade Fozi's chest surged with emerald light. It was his Bodhi Buddha heart that was emitting divine light. There seemed to be the sound of chanting from the void. It was vast and solemn. Jade Fozi attacked with a seal. It was as if an ancient Buddha had attacked to suppress a calamity. On the other side, the Sword Master of the Void also activated his virtual body. The surrounding space rippled like waves, and all kinds of space laws appeared. Mimi reading. He held his sword with both hands, which contained endless void power. It was his ultimate move, Space Wave Sword. But that wasn't all. The Sea God's third prince, who had fallen to the ground, stood up again. He had the Sea God's bloodline, so his physical body's recovery ability wasn't weak. His broken right arm was recovering at a visible speed. The Sea God's third prince was unwilling to give up, so he continued to attack. They knew that if it wasn't Jun Xiaoyao who died today, then it would be them. The three little giants attacked at the same time. Their power was unimaginable. It was as if they wanted to destroy this space. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. His body shook, and the immortal Daluo immortal body appeared. His physical strength broke through the limit again. Every inch of his skin seemed to be dyed with golden light. His bones were like jade, branded with golden runes. 100,000 divine elephant granules also exploded. Then he clenched his fist and used the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. Kuanping Infinite Divine Fist, Lightning Emperor Finger, Divine Elephant Sky-Shattering Tackle, 7 Dragons Destroy the World, Primitive Emperor Dao Sword, Immortal Slayer Sword Chant. The 6 paths of reincarnation fist controlled these 6 terrifying superpowers and attacked at the same time. The shockwaves were unparalleled. It seemed to be able to sink a continent. It had the power to destroy the world. Boom! An ear-piercing sound was heard. Under this attack, the 3 little tycoons were sent flying. Their arms exploded, and cracks spread across their bodies, shattering into pieces like porcelain. Jun Xiaoyao's punch showed his invincible power. It crushed the 3 little giants like a young immortal king. His divine power was unparalleled. Chapter 558. The entire 18th level of the Infernal Star rumbled. The 3 powerhouses were sent flying like rags. Their bodies cracked and blood spurted out. How can he be so strong? The Sea God's third prince and the Void Sword Master roared. Jade Fozi was the calmest of the 3, but he no longer had his signature smile. He was incomparably solemn. Meanwhile, on the other side of the training hall, Jun Xiaoyao's performance caused everyone to fall silent. They knew Jun Xiaoyao was strong, but they didn't expect him to be so freakishly strong. The 3 powerhouses were no match for Jun Xiaoyao even though they worked together. They were all heavily injured. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao's white robes didn't even have a single wrinkle. The difference was shocking. Kong Xian's worldview began to crumble. Jun Xiaoyao's strength had refreshed her understanding of the strong. No, Jade Fozi and the others are about to crush their jade seals. A prodigy pointed at the light screen and exclaimed. Everyone's eyes were fixed on them. They knew Jade Fozi and the others were about to give it their all. The 18th level of the Infernal Star. Jade Fozi and the others stood up and wiped the blood from their mouth. All kinds of light surged on the surface of their bodies, mending the cracks on their bodies. Jade Fozi had the Bodhi Buddhist heart, the Void Sword Son had the Void body, and the third prince had the Sea God bloodline. It could be said that their bodies weren't weak under the support of their talent. Unfortunately, they had encountered a freak like Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's body had the potential to become an emperor. It wasn't something ordinary prodigies could compare to. Now that things have come to this, we can only go all out. The Void Sword Son took out a jade seal. The third prince and Jade Fuozi also took out jade seals at the same time. Don't forget that they were still on the 18th level of the Infernal Star. They were suppressed by the domain and could only use 40% of their strength. Jun Xiaoyao, no matter what, you will die today. The Void Sword Son's eyes were filled with determination. He had to kill Jun Xiaoyao and take the opportunity he had with him. With a cracking sound, the Void Swordsman crushed the jade seal. In an instant, his aura erupted like a volcano, causing the surrounding space to shatter inch by inch. His strength had recovered to its peak. At the same time, Jade Fuozi and the third prince crushed their jade seals. Their auras skyrocketed as the shackles on their bodies were removed. Their strength was completely revealed. Although it's only 15 minutes, it's enough to end the battle. Jun Xiaoyao, come on. Jade Fuozi's Buddha heart calmed down when he sensed that his strength had returned to its original level. The strength of the three of them had recovered to the peak, and they had regained their confidence. However, what surprised them was Jun Xiaoyao didn't move at all. Jun Xiaoyao? Are you seeking your own death? Seeing that Jun Xiaoyao didn't crush the jade seal, the Void Sword Master raised his eyebrows. He said, "Why would I need to crush the jade seal to deal with you?" Jun Xiaoyao shook his head and chuckled. "What? You want to fight the three of us with only 40% of your strength?" A cold light flashed in the third prince's eyes. Jun Xiaoyao was blatantly looking down on them. The strength of the three of them had recovered to its peak? But Jun Xiaoyao still wanted to fight them with only 40% of his strength. If this wasn't contempt, then what was? 40% of my strength is too much, Jun Xiaoyao said. A lion hunting a rabbit? You still need to use your full strength? It seems that Jun Xiaoyao doesn't know this, Jade Fuozi said. There's no need to say more. Only 15 minutes? Kill him. The Void Sword Master attacked first. His constitution was the void body? Plus, he had comprehended half of the space book. Therefore, his attack speed was also the fastest. He took a step forward as if he had crossed the void. The long sword in his hand stabbed toward Jun Xiaoyao. This time, he used his full strength, unlike before. 60% of his strength was suppressed. Jun Xiaoyao also took a step forward and used the speed of the Kuan-Pung. Then, he flicked his finger and it landed on the blade. He pushed the immortal body of the Daluo Immortal to the extreme. His finger was even harder than divine gold. With a clang, the blade of the Void Sword Master was shattered. Jun Xiaoyao turned his finger into a fist and punched the Void Sword Master. The Void Sword Master hurriedly blocked with his sword, but the vast divine power still caused the Void Sword Master to be shocked. His body flew back like a cannonball. What? The third prince and Jade Fuozi were stunned. They didn't dare to underestimate him anymore and attacked right away. In the dojo outside Hellstar, everyone who saw this scene was speechless. Jade Fuozi and the other two had crushed the Jade Seal and recovered their full strength in 15 minutes. Just when everyone thought that Jun Xiaoyao would crush the Jade Seal as well and take on the three giants in a complete state, he did so. They were shocked to find that Jun Xiaoyao still hadn't used the Jade Seal. In other words, Jun Xiaoyao was only using 40% of his strength to fight the three powerhouses. This was absolutely incomparably shocking, making one's heart tremble. What shocked them even more was that the Void Sword Master was still sent flying by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. While everyone outside the arena was still in shock, Jun Xiaoyao continued to overwhelm Yi Futian with overwhelming force. 4 strands of deity qi surrounded him. Even if he could only use 40% of his strength, it was still shocking enough. Together with the 100,000 divine elephant granules and the immortal body of the Daluo Immortal, Even if Jun Xiaoyao could only use 40% of his strength, it was still easy to deal with Jade Fozi and the others. He punched with deity light and 4 strands of deity qi at the third prince of the sea god. The third prince of the sea god also resisted the attack with 2 strands of deity qi, but he was completely suppressed by Jun Xiaoyao's 4 strands of deity qi. Even his deity qi was on the verge of collapsing. With a furious roar, the Ocean King's trident, which was imbued with the mystical powers of the god of the sea, was thrown at Jun Xiaoyao again. "Do you really think I can't break it?" Jun Xiaoyao held his hand up and brought out the cauldron of myriad qi. Wisps of myriad qi rained down, bringing with them a heavy will. Read by Mimi is that, when Jun Xiaoyao took out the myriad qi cauldron, the eyes of the little girl in the form of the immortal Marrow Emperor glittered like never before. It was as if she had seen the thing she wanted the most. Meanwhile, the myriad qi cauldron was flying at the third prince of the sea god. The third prince of the sea god defended himself with the Ocean Emperor trident. However, to his astonishment, cracks began to spread on his Ocean Emperor trident as the myriad qi cauldron suppressed it. "Impossible!" the third prince of the sea god roared madly. "It was a supreme weapon. How could it be destroyed so easily?" "Suppress." Jun Xiaoyao activated the mystical qi conjured from the myriad origin qi once again, raining it down. With a loud bang, the Sea King's trident was crushed to pieces. The fragments that flew out pierced the third prince of the sea god, turning his body into a sieve. Then, the myriad qi cauldron suppressed him completely. Wisps of deity qi poured down like the sky and the earth. Puff! The third prince of the sea god was crushed into a meat patty by the myriad qi cauldron. Chapter 559. One of the 3 overlords, the third prince of the sea god, had died under the myriad qi cauldron. Moreover, his death was extremely miserable. Not even a complete corpse was left behind. Only a pile of minced meat that made one's body go cold was left behind. "You're next." Jun Xiaoyao stepped forward. Mysterious spatial runes bloomed under his feet. It was the manifestation of the Kuan Peng's extreme speed. Jun Xiaoyao held the myriad qi cauldron in his hand and attacked the Void Swordsman again. Billion Space Annihilation Technique. The Void Swordsman had goosebumps all over his body. He hurriedly resisted and performed a powerful move. His void body was pushed to the extreme. He mobilized the surrounding spatial power and 2 strands of immortal qi. The sword seemed to be able to destroy billions of layers of space. The space was filled with sharp sword qi. However, Jun Xiaoyao's move was simple and direct. He pushed the myriad qi cauldron forward. All the sword qi along the way exploded when they collided with the myriad qi cauldron. "Oh no!" The Void Swordsman's heart trembled. He stepped forward and used spatial power to escape. However, Jun Xiaoyao had also comprehended half of the space scroll. He had mastered spatial power and cultivated the Kuan Peng's grand superpower. He was faster than the Void Swordsman. Bang! Jun Xiaoyao pushed the myriad qi cauldron as if he was pushing a giant star. It shattered the Void Swordsman and the space around him. The Void Swordsman's body was shattered. Even his primordial spirit was crushed. In the blink of an eye, the second overlord had died. Jade Fozi was stunned. He didn't even have time to react. In just a few breaths, the third prince of the sea god and the Void Swordsman had both died. Yu Fuozi's heart turned cold at that instant. Jun Xiaoyao held the myriad qi cauldron in his hand and looked at Jade Fozi indifferently. "You Buddhists talk about karma. Previously, when I killed the Western Paradise's Buddhist son, Fa Hai, and Buddhist daughter, Miao Wuxin, you thought that this divine son would definitely receive retribution. But now?" Jun Xiaoyao sneered. "Jun Xiaoyao, even if you don't receive retribution now, you will definitely receive retribution in the future." Although Yu Fuozi tried his best to remain calm, his voice still trembled slightly. "Even if there is karma in this world, let's see if this karma dares to fall on the Son of God." Jun Xiaoyao's voice faded. He raised his hand. Within his Dantian spirit sea, the origin of the universe in his god's origin surged out. Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his hand. The power of the origin of the universe transformed into dazzling divine chains of order, intertwining into a wisp of eternal light. Was it Jun Xiaoyao's self-created divine ability? Genesis? Light of God. Jun Xiaoyao rarely used such a self-created ability, after all. This was because not many people were worthy of him using this move. Not even Jade Fozi was qualified? However, Jun Xiaoyao wanted to end the battle quickly, so he used this trump card. That wisp of light seemed to have come from the beginning of the universe. The first wisp of light that was born illuminated the endless darkness. Everything in the world seemed to be returning to the origin under this wisp of light. It disappeared into nothingness. Feeling this extremely terrifying power? Jade Fozi was shocked. He put his hands together and chanted sutras? He had also unleashed his strongest move. Thousand-armed Buddha, Bodhi's Sai. The phantom of a thousand-armed Buddha appeared behind Jade Fozi. 1,000 palms struck out at the same time, turning into a jade-colored Buddha seal that seemed to be able to suppress the 3,000 world. The ultimate moves collided, turning the surrounding ground into dust. If it weren't for the second anti-immortal seal, the entire 18th level of the infernal star might have collapsed. Under this tremor, the dusty soil in the deepest part of the 18th level of the infernal star fell down. A door that seemed to lead to the netherworld was revealed. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao didn't know yet. The dazzling light deprived everyone of their vision. Even the people in the outer dojos couldn't see the specific situation. Everyone was curious about who had won and who had lost. Kong Xian's heart was in her mouth. Under everyone's gaze, the light slowly dissipated. A huge pit appeared where it had been. Jun Xiaoyao stood where he was calmly, his white robe spotless. Jade Fozi, who was opposite him, had disappeared. Strictly speaking, Jade Fozi's entire body had been annihilated in the divine light, leaving not even a speck of dust. This was the terrifying power of Jun Xiaoyao's own Tao, combined with the power of the universe's origin and evolved divine powers. I wonder when I'll be able to comprehend the second move. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. He wasn't surprised by this result. This move was enough to kill the little tycoons. If it didn't work, he would add another move. So far, the 3 little tycoons had all died in Jun Xiaoyao's hands. Most importantly, Jun Xiaoyao didn't crush the jade seal. In other words, he fought the 3 little tycoons at their peak with only 40% of his strength and killed them all. If this battle result were to spread, it would definitely cause a huge uproar in the Emperor Road. Now, the dojos outside the infernal star were in an uproar. Oh my God, the son of God of the Jun family killed the 3 little tycoons with only 40% of his strength. Am I dreaming? Download the Mimi Reading app to read forever for free. If 40% of his strength is already so terrifying, who can stop the son of God of the Jun family if he goes all out? Even Yi Guchen, the first on the Barren Sky Saint leaderboard, can't beat him, right? Exclamation. Shock. All kinds of expressions and emotions appeared in the eyes of the Sky Prides. Even Chong Ming Supreme couldn't help but sigh deeply and say to himself, the rumors of the immortal battle are true. The son of God of the Jun family is indeed worthy of the title of Invincible Saint. Invincible Saint was not a title that just anyone could bear. Only those who were truly invincible in the saint stage were qualified to bear this title. Otherwise, it would be a joke if they were defeated so easily. Chong Ming Supreme had heard that Jun Xiaoyao had killed 100 saints with a single cauldron, but he still didn't believe it. After all, it was too shocking. However, Jun Xiaoyao had proven it with fact. That rumor wasn't false. Haha, that long-haired bald donkey is finally dead. What do you think, bitch? Do you know how powerful my master is now? The 9-headed lion danced with joy. Kong Xian was petrified as if her soul had been taken away. The Arhat, whom she admired the most, was no match for Jun Xiaoyao. The disparity was too great, and she couldn't accept it in a short period of time. No matter how noisy the outside world was. On the 18th level of the infernal star, Jun Xiaoyao looked calm. Killing the 3 little tycoons was nothing special to him. It was just a matter of convenience. His main target was the 19th level of the infernal star. However, before that, Jun Xiaoyao still had some errands to take care of. He first walked to the Void Sword Master and took away his spatial artifact. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a smile as he probed with his divine consciousness. As expected, he obtained the remaining half of the space book. At this point, Jun Xiaoyao was the owner of 2 heavenly tomes. The remaining 7 owners of the heavenly tomes must live well. Wait for the Son of God to harvest you, Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. Chapter 560. After obtaining the complete space tome, Jun Xiaoyao relaxed a little. He turned his head again and looked at the expressionless little rock king with a numb expression. He shook his head inwardly. Looks like you still failed. After sighing, Jun Xiaoyao activated the power of his triple life primordial spirit and poured it into the golden-winged rock's mind. He discovered that there was a golden seed in the golden-winged rock's primordial spirit. It must be the seed that Jade Fozi had planted with his expiation technique. However, now that Jade Fozi was dead, the seed no longer had any binding power. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit stirred slightly and destroyed the seed. The golden-winged rock's body trembled, and his numb eyes gradually regained some luster. As if awakened from a dream, he looked at Jun Xiaoyao in front of him and recalled what had happened before. Thank you, Son of God, for saving me. It looks like I still failed. The golden-winged rock looked ashamed. It's all right. You don't have to worry about Jade Fozi anymore. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Could it be? The golden-winged rock's eyes widened. The golden-winged rock was filled with emotions after learning that Jun Xiaoyao had casually killed Jade Fozi and the other 2 giants. He was truly impressed by Jun Xiaoyao. Next, Jun Xiaoyao's gaze fell on the little girl who had taken the form of the immortal Marrow King. He slowly approached the little lowly, and his nose caught a whiff of a fragrance that made one's pores open. So it really is the ginseng fruit? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. Little brother, don't eat me. I don't taste good. The little girl shrank back, her long eyelashes trembling slightly. If this scene was seen by some bronze-refining warlocks with certain fetishes, they would probably go crazy and turn into wolves. Even if they didn't have such fetishes, the immortal Marrow King was still very attractive to ordinary cultivators. Not to mention a transformed immortal Marrow King. How should I deal with it? Should I refine the arms first, the legs, or stew it in a pot? Jun Xiaoyao wondered if he should throw the immortal Marrow King into the heaven and earth furnace to refine it. The little girl was so frightened that she burst into tears. Soybean-sized tears flowed out of her big eyes. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows and wiped the tears on the little girl's face and carefully studied her. The little girl was stunned. She never thought that Jun Xiaoyao would suddenly wipe her tears so gently. Jun Xiaoyao's attention, however, was focused on the tears. Immortal Marrow King's tears? Jun Xiaoyao was astonished. This little Lolita's entire body was a treasure. And her tears were all rare Immortal Marrow King's tears. In that case, Jun Xiaoyao had a bold conjecture. The other liquids that the little girl shed might also be rare treasures. For a moment, Jun Xiaoyao hesitated. Killing the goose that lays the golden eggs could only be used for a while. But raising chickens to lay eggs could be used forever. As if sensing the hesitation in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, the little girl's survival instincts exploded. She hurriedly shouted, "Little brother is so good-looking and handsome. You can't be a bad person, right?" Although you've just been born, it seems that you're not stupid. You're telling the truth. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He decided not to deal with the little girl now. Anyway, he had just condensed his 4th strand of immortal qi. He was not in a hurry to condense his 5th strand of immortal qi. Sensing that the dangerous look in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes had disappeared, the little girl heaved a sigh of relief. However, she blinked and said with a longing look, "Little brother." Earlier, that cauldron, Jun Xiaoyao was slightly stunned. Then, he took out the myriad qi cauldron. When she saw the myriad qi rolling in the myriad qi cauldron, the little girl's face was filled with longing. "You want the myriad qi?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. The little girl hurriedly nodded her little head. Jun Xiaoyao pondered and then separated a strand of myriad qi. What happened next, however, left even Jun Xiaoyao dumbfounded. This little loli actually opened her small cherry mouth and swallowed the myriad origin qi in one gulp. That works. Jun Xiaoyao was really surprised. Although the myriad qi was a rare treasure, it was not something that anyone could absorb. Ordinary geniuses could not even withstand a strand of myriad qi. Their bodies would be crushed. Jun Xiaoyao was able to use the myriad qi to temper his body because he had the sacred body of the ancients and the immortal body of Dalu. However, the little girl in front of him swallowed the myriad qi. Can you give me a little more? I'm not full." The little girl twisted her fingers and said embarrassedly. "Interesting." Jun Xiaoyao's eyes showed a hint of curiosity. It felt as if he had found a new toy. He once again split out a few strands of myriad qi, and the little loli did not reject them, swallowing them all into her little stomach. Her aura began to rise. Her entire body seemed to have become more solid and pure. If I continue to cultivate her, can I really cultivate a little sacred spirit? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. A sacred spirit formed from divine gold was in existence that could stand shoulder to shoulder with great emperors and emperors of the ancients. The level of the king of immortal marrow was actually not inferior to divine gold. If the little girl really had such potential, it would be a waste to refine her directly. Should I treat her as food and kill her after she's fattened up? Or should I keep her as a pet and cultivate her into a little sacred spirit in the future? Jun Xiaoyao thought. Then, he asked, "What is your name?" "I don't have a name," the little girl said weakly. "Since you're the king of immortal marrow in human form, I'll call you Xiao Xian. Jun Xiaoyao said casually. The cute little girl Xiao Xian was a good name. Xiao Xian was pleasantly surprised. At least this meant that Jun Xiaoyao would not eat her for the time being. "Little Rock King, look after her. I have something to do," Jun Xiaoyao said to the golden-winged rock. "Could it be? Son of God, you want to?" The golden-winged rock seemed to have thought of something. His eyes widened in disbelief. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao wanted to challenge the 19th level of the Infernal Star again? "I also want to see what the 19th level of the Infernal Star looks like," Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. The golden-winged rock was truly shocked. Ordinary people would stay away from any of the Infernal Star's 7 mysteries, not daring to get involved in any of them. But Jun Xiaoyao knew that there were tigers in the mountains, but he still chose to go there. But what made them speechless was that Jun Xiaoyao actually came out of the Bronze Immortal Palace. After saying that, Jun Xiaoyao turned around and continued walking with his hands behind his back. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's back, the golden-winged rock had a feeling that Jun Xiaoyao would create another shocking miracle. Chapter 561. At the dojo outside the Infernal Star. Everyone was still in a state of shock from what had just happened. The fall of the 3 overlords was no doubt big news on the Emperor Road. It would cause a stir in the entire Emperor Road. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was able to easily take out the 3 giants with only 40% of his strength. That would undoubtedly become a hot topic for everyone to talk about. The son of God of the Jun family has completed his mission. It's time for him to come out. Something's not right. Look, is the son of God of the Jun family going deeper? What is he trying to do? Is he going to enter the 19th level of the Infernal Star? The 19th level of the Infernal Star is one of the 7 wonders. It's a forbidden place. Without a doubt, Jun Xiaoyao's actions caused yet another huge commotion in the training hall. No one expected Jun Xiaoyao to really choose to go deeper. Isn't Master too stubborn? The 9-headed lion was also speechless. Can he pass the 19th level of the infernal star? Kong Xian was still in a daze. Jun Xiaoyao's performance had refreshed her understanding of his strength. She did not know if Jun Xiaoyao could create another miracle. As expected of the son of God of the Jun family. Chong Ming Supreme shook his head and smiled. The reason why he came in person was to see what Jun Xiaoyao would choose. Now it seemed that Jun Xiaoyao was still Jun Xiaoyao. It would be strange if Jun Xiaoyao did not explore the 19th level of the infernal star. The entire dojo was in an uproar. In the depths of the infernal star, Jun Xiaoyao walked with his hands behind his back. Along the way, he encountered many earth demons and heavenly demons. There were even many earth demon emperors and heavenly demon emperors. However, they were all killed by Jun Xiaoyao. The title of Invincible Saint was not just for show. In this realm, Jun Xiaoyao was almost invincible. Jun Xiaoyao even had the ability to fight above his level. Even a Saint King or a Supreme Saint would not be able to defeat Jun Xiaoyao easily. Finally, Jun Xiaoyao arrived in front of a large door. The door was mottled and dark, as if it had been watered with blood. An ominous resentment pervaded the air, as if it was the gate to the netherworld. Is this the entrance to the 19th level of Hellstar? Jun Xiaoyao sized him up. Just the door alone was enough to make one's hair stand on end. Geniuses with weaker Dao hearts would have their minds shaken. If they got close, they would be branded by some mysterious curse power and die in extreme pain and madness. However, Jun Xiaoyao's entire body was shining with immortal light and surging with golden radiance. The evil-repelling power of the sacred body of the ancients was brought to its fullest at that very moment. Jun Xiaoyao was like a god of endless light, suppressing all evil. Jun Xiaoyao pushed open the door without hesitation. Jun Xiaoyao felt the world around him spin as soon as he pushed the door open. He was unable to see anything clearly, as if he had been thrown into a dark universe all of a sudden. After an unknown amount of time, in front of Jun Xiaoyao, it seemed to have suddenly lit up. There were mountains all around, as if it was the base of a certain force. Senior brother? It's impossible between you and me. You're the one I love. You're the hero who dominated the Emperor Road. All of a sudden, a female voice was heard. In front of Jun Xiaoyao, a pure and beautiful woman appeared. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao with disdain in her eyes. Jun Xiaoyao wanted to say something, but he found that he couldn't say anything. Instead, he heard a voice in his ear. It sounded like him, but at the same time, it didn't sound like him. Junior sister? I'll go to the Emperor Road. I'll prove to you that I have the ability to protect you. Hearing this voice, Jun Xiaoyao was confused. Did he really say those words himself? How could he be such a bootlicker? Senior brother, I'll wait. The day you become famous in the Emperor Road will be the day I marry you. This senior brother? His gaze was firm. He stepped onto the Emperor Road. Only then did Jun Xiaoyao realize that he seemed to have become a mass of consciousness living in someone else's body. In other words, Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness gradually merged with that senior brother. What the hell is on the 19th level of the infernal star? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. This was simply strange. It was as if he was sitting in a movie theater and watching someone else's life. Jun Xiaoyao had thought about all kinds of dangers on the 19th level of the infernal star. But he didn't expect it to be so strange. Next, this senior brother resolutely stepped onto the Emperor's Road, filled with conviction. Compared to Jun Xiaoyao, who was the center of attention and stood above all beings, this senior brother was a little ordinary. He was just an inconspicuous outer disciple from a first-class force. Walking the Emperor Road was no different from walking to his death. As expected, not long after stepping onto the Emperor Road, this poor senior brother was completely defeated by a genius from a top force. How can an ant like you complete the Emperor Road? Haha, what a joke! The genius stepped on that senior brother's head and stomped it into the ground. Then, his entire head exploded. Jun Xiaoyao felt very strange. It was as if his head had been stomped to pieces. If it were any other genius, they would definitely go crazy in the face of such a thing. Jun Xiaoyao, however, found it very novel. At this time, a blood-sobbing voice could be heard. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. Why am I the one who's buried in the Emperor Road? This voice was bone-piercing and filled with tears. He was even able to vaguely sense that his own consciousness seemed to have been infected as well. He seemed to have become that senior brother, with unwillingness and resentment, as if he was going to turn into a demonic consciousness that cursed everything. I see. Is this the test of the 19th level of the Infernal Star? At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao came to a sudden realization. The Infernal Star was rumored to be formed by the accumulated resentment of countless cultivators who were buried on the Emperor Road. The 19th level was the place where the resentment gathered. These resentment wanted to assimilate Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness. In this way, Jun Xiaoyao would fall into endless madness and stay here forever, becoming a part of the resentment. No wonder those who entered the 19th level of the Infernal Star by chance never came out. Jun Xiaoyao finally understood. However, this test did not seem too scary now. However, Jun Xiaoyao was still naive. After the senior brother that his consciousness resided in had his head stomped to pieces. A moment later, Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness recovered again. This time, he became a young man of the monster race. This monster race lineage was persecuted by a powerful force. This young man of the monster race swore to become stronger and protect his lineage. Then, he resolutely stepped onto the Emperor Road in search of the path to become stronger. The result was obvious. He did not make it through many levels before his chest was pierced by a human sky pride. No. I can't accept this. I want to become stronger. I want to protect my clan and my kin. Blood flowed out of the young man's mouth as he screamed in despair. The strong live and the weak die. You think you can protect your own race? The sky pride of the human race snickered in disdain. Ah! I hate you! In the end, the young man of the monster race's body exploded and his primordial spirit shattered. However, the endless resentment and curse power did not dissipate for a long time. This was the truth of the Emperor Road. Except for a few dazzling geniuses like Jun Xiaoyao, most of the other cultivators and living beings who stepped onto the Emperor Road were insignificant waves in the ocean. A small wave pounced over and disappeared without a trace. Not even a trace was left behind. The Emperor Road was a pile of bones, and what remained were their bones. Chapter 562. It had to be said that the 19th level of Infernal Star was very strange. It did not have the straightforward danger, but it was subtly driving people crazy. Next, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have experienced endless reincarnation. He was a high-spirited young cultivator, but in the end, he was buried in the Emperor Road. He was a young man who wanted to revitalize his family, but he was mercilessly slaughtered in the Emperor Road. He even experienced the infatuation of a woman who stepped onto the Emperor Road to pursue the sky pride she admired. In the end, she did not even get to see the sky pride once until her death. The sky pride did not even know of her existence. Resentment, hatred, and unwillingness, all kinds of negative emotions began to invade Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness like poison. This was the unwillingness of the countless living beings who were buried in the Emperor Road. How could someone be so high and mighty? How could they be the skeletons who paved the road? The power of resentment was very terrifying. Even Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit of 3 lives showed signs of darkening. Mahavairakana. Jun Xiaoyao activated the Rulai mantra. A panicked Mahavairakana Dharma form appeared, trying to suppress the evil spirit. However, the monstrous resentment was too terrifying. Even Mahavairakana could not suppress it. The 19th level of Infernal Star is indeed dangerous. Although there is no obvious killing intent, it secretly kills people without leaving a trace. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. No matter how strong one's cultivation was, they would be very vulnerable in the face of this kind of corruption. If they were not careful, their defenses would be broken. Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have been reincarnated thousands of times. However, only a little more than a month had passed in the outside world. In this more than a month, almost all the Sky Prides who were training in Infernal Star had returned. The entire Infernal Star was about to close. Mu Yuehan, Golden Winged Rock, and Xiao Xianer, who was transformed from the immortal Marrow King, had also returned. Some of the Sky Prides looked at Xiao Xianer with fiery eyes, but they did not dare to do anything. This was because Xiao Xianer belonged to Jun Xiaoyao. No one knew if Jun Xiaoyao could make it out of the 19th level of Hellstar. However, after witnessing Jun Xiaoyao's strength, no one dared to test him again. If they were not careful, they might lose their lives. It's been more than a month, and the Son of God of the Jun family still hasn't come out. That's right. I heard that at the end of the 18th stage of the Emperor Road, the Barren Heaven battlefield will open soon. When the time comes, all the Sky Prides will gather there to fight for the seal of proving doctrine and obtain the title of Emperor Road King. The Barren Heaven battlefield is the ultimate training ground on the Huangtian Mystic Realm's Imperial Road. There are endless opportunities there. If I can get the legendary seal of proving the way, I'll be at least a quasi-emperor in the future. If the Son of God of the Jun family participates, even if he doesn't become the king of the Emperor Road, he would at least be able to obtain a seal of proving principles. But looking at the current situation, whether or not the Jun family's Son of God will be able to come out is another matter. The Sky Prides in the training hall were all discussing. If they could get a seal of proving the way, it would be extremely beneficial for them to embark on the ultimate ancient path. If they could obtain the title of Emperor Road King, they could almost be said to be the leader of the Huangtian Mystic Realm's Imperial Road. They would have endless glory and honor. With Jun Xiaoyao's current strength and performance, he was one of the most likely people to fight for this honor. But now, more than a month had passed, and the Infernal Star was closed. Jun Xiaoyao did not make any moves at all. If it were not for Jun Xiaoyao's outstanding performance before, many people would even think that Jun Xiaoyao would have been defeated. However, the situation was indeed as some people thought. Jun Xiaoyao's situation was indeed not very good. Previously, he was able to come out of the Bronze Immortal Palace safely because of various factors. The most important factor was the karma between the Bronze Immortal Palace and the Ghost-Masked Woman. Moreover, he had an inexplicable karma with the Ghost-Masked Woman. It was because of this relationship that Jun Xiaoyao could treat the Bronze Immortal Palace as his home. If it were anyone else who entered, even if they were supremes, they would have been killed. But the 19th level of the Infernal Star was different. This incredible place had no karma with Jun Xiaoyao. In other words, Jun Xiaoyao could only rely on himself to get through this level. For the outside world, it was just a short month. But for Jun Xiaoyao, who was deep in the 19th level of the Infernal Star, it felt like thousands of reincarnations. He had possessed countless geniuses who had fallen on the Emperor Road. Each time, he died with endless despair. If it happened once or twice, he might not feel anything. But when a person experienced that kind of endless despair thousands of times, that kind of abyss-like death, no one could guarantee that they would not go crazy. At least, if it were any other geniuses, even if they were supremes, they would not be able to last as long as Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's invincible heart of the path had been tempered countless times. It would not collapse so easily. But even so, facing this kind of endless torture, even Jun Xiaoyao felt a little tired. This is a torturous level, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. The power of his primordial spirit began to fade gradually. Layers of pitch-black resentment and sin tainted his primordial spirit. Finally, after going through thousands of reincarnations, Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was almost pure black. At that moment, even Jun Xiaoyao himself was powerless to reverse the situation. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to use his last resort and fight to the death, a fragmented ancient talisman suddenly floated into the air. This is... Jun Xiaoyao was stunned for a moment before he recalled what had happened. This was the broken ancient talisman he had taken from Wang Ting in the bronze immortal palace. This broken ancient talisman was engraved with the word chaos, which had the power to protect the primordial spirit. Even if Wang Ting's primordial spirit was destroyed, he could use this to recover. And now, this broken ancient talisman was emitting a faint light again, like a spark in the darkness. As the broken ancient talisman was activated, Jun Xiaoyao vaguely saw a majestic figure gradually appear. A sonorous and powerful voice filled with an incomparably tenacious will sounded in his ears. In the first half of my life, I fought thousands of battles and lost all of them. I didn't win once. After I lost all of them, I turned from a saint to a demon, reversed yin and yang, and reversed life and death. In the second half of my life, I fought thousands of battles and won all of them. I didn't lose once. The deafening voice resounded in Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness. The incomplete ancient talisman also released an immeasurable amount of divine light, illuminating the boundless darkness. Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness was disturbed and woke up like a sleeping lion. These words reminded him of a person who could be called a legend among the emperors. Emperor Ancient Chaos. A great emperor who had suffered thousands of defeats in his life. It could be said that he was an anomaly among the great emperors. The other great emperors had shocked the world since they were born and were surrounded by glory. However, he had risen from nothing and recovered from the wilderness, one step at a time. He didn't win in the first half of his life, and he didn't lose in the second half of his life. Jun Xiaoyao had also read about the deeds of Emperor Ancient Chaos in some ancient books. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness shuddered as he glanced at the broken ancient talisman. Looking at the word chaos engraved on the ancient talisman, Jun Xiaoyao was finally sure. This broken ancient talisman was the Emperor Ancient Chaos Talisman, the Emperor Ancient Chaos Talisman. Chapter 563. Back in the bronze immortal palace, when he saw this ancient talisman with the word chaos on it, Jun Xiaoyao had already guessed that it might have something to do with the legendary ancient Chaos Great Emperor. However, the word chaos alone was not enough to confirm that this ancient talisman was related to the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. After all, it was not uncommon to see experts with the word chaos. But now this ancient talisman had automatically awakened in this desperate situation, which undoubtedly proved that it belonged to the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. It was the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's imperial weapon, the ancient Chaos Talisman. However, it was rumored that the ancient Chaos Great Emperor had two imperial weapons, one for offense and one for defense. The one for offense was called the ancient Chaos Axe. The one for defense was the ancient Chaos Talisman. It seems that Wang Ting was the protagonist of Heaven and Earth, the son of destiny. It was possible for him to obtain the complete inheritance of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor, but I intercepted him halfway. Jun Xiaoyao could not help but feel relieved. At this moment, this half of the ancient Chaos Talisman had automatically awakened. It was probably because of the special situation at hand. The ancient Chaos Great Emperor was unyielding throughout his life. He fought against heaven, earth, and fate. However, these losers of the Emperor Road only knew how to curse heaven and earth. These negative emotions were the complete opposite of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's will. Therefore, the ancient Chaos Talisman had been activated. The ancient Chaos Talisman released an infinite amount of divine light, illuminating the darkness. It was as if a majestic figure was holding a giant axe, trying to cut off the endless reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao was also energized. With his own willpower, He might be able to escape from this reincarnation if he fought with his life. However, with the help of the ancient Chaos Talisman, Jun Xiaoyao was no doubt more relaxed. Endless resentment is just the clamor of ants. The road to becoming a king is paved with countless corpses. You are only fit to become dead souls and bones, cursing heaven and earth. I, Jun Xiaoyao, will step over your bones and reach the supreme peak. Jun Xiaoyao's consciousness said coldly. He did not feel the slightest bit of pity for the living beings and cultivators who had died in the Emperor Road. The strong lived, the weak died. Survival of the fittest. This was the law of the world. What was the use of complaining about heaven and earth and fate? Everyone had their own destiny. Some were born to be kings, some became bandits. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was the one destined to become king. Beneath his feet was destined to be paved with endless corpses. The 19th level of hell? So what? Break for me. Jun Xiaoyao let out a clear whistle and his white robe fluttered. His hair, accompanied by the radiance of the ancient Chaos Talisman? The endless reincarnation? It was broken. The ancient chaos was torn? What replaced it was a dark red world that looked like purgatory. Many skeletons, vengeful spirits, dead spirits, and earth demons? Heavenly demon? Demon emperor? Demon emperor 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 god emperor road. Jun Xiaoyao held the cauldron of myriad qi in one hand and crushed the jade seal with the other. Ancient shackles, was to be broken. Great is time. Unleash his full strength. Ancient Jun Xiaoyao pushed the myriad qi cauldron with one hand like a god pushing an ancient star, crushing all obstacles before him. In fact, compared to the previous reincarnation heart refinement stage, deal with these existences? It was even easier. Jun Xiaoyao could unleash his full strength? How terrifying! A ray of divine light could annihilate an area. A 6 paths of reincarnation fist could easily destroy an earth demon emperor. Jun Xiaoyao was unstoppable throughout his journey. Nothing was able to stop him. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao entered the depths of the 19th level of Infernal Star. Jun Xiaoyao found that there were countless red lotus-like flames blooming here. This is Red Lotus Hellfire. Jun Xiaoyao frowned. Red Lotus Hellfire was a flame formed by the power of sin. What the fire burned was sin and karma. Many geniuses were buried on the Emperor Road. The resentment of countless geniuses formed a vast amount of sin and karma, gathering here. Even a supreme being would tremble if they came here. Once the power of sin and karma touched one's body, it would be difficult to get rid of it as it would implicate oneself. After all, who dared to say that they had not sinned? Who dared to say that they had not been tainted by karma? At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao vaguely felt that the supreme being bone in his chest seemed to be slightly hot. Just as he was about to investigate, the mechanical voice of the system sounded in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for reaching the check-in location. Do you wish to check in? Check-in, Jun Xiaoyao said in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 7-star reward, Sin Immortal Qi. As the system's voice fell, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly noticed that a dark red immortal qi with endless power of sin and karma had appeared out of thin air in his body. On the surface of the immortal qi, there seemed to be a thin layer of red lotus hellfire. It was the sin immortal qi. There's already a immortal qi? Jun Xiaoyao was a little speechless. If the other geniuses knew about this, they would be so angry that they would vomit blood. After all, they had worked hard and put in a lot of effort to condense a immortal qi before finally succeeding. As a result, Jun Xiaoyao was able to get a whiff of mystical aura just by checking in once. This was basically free. Counting the sin immortal qi, Jun Xiaoyao already had 5 immortal qi in his body unknowingly. This was a very terrifying number. If I could get immortal qi every time I sign in, then I wouldn't have to spend so much effort to condense immortal qi. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. But he was just joking. Sign-in opportunities were randomly refreshed, and it was impossible to get immortal chi every time he signed in. This time, it was an unexpected surprise. So in the future, Jun Xiaoyao still had to obediently condense immortal chi on his own. With the condensation of the Sin immortal chi, the Red Lotus Hellfire and the power of Sin here were no longer a threat to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao continued to go deeper. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks, because there was no more path ahead. Instead, there was a wall. It was a wall made up of endless bones and flesh, and it looked very creepy. And in the center of the wall, there was a figure sitting cross-legged. It was a woman in a blood-red dress. Her black hair was also blood-red, and it flowed down like a flowing river of blood. Although her face was beautiful, there were many strange black curse patterns on it. Her beautiful eyes seemed to be flowing with blood and fire, burning with endless red lotus hellfire. "How long has it been? Someone else has come here," the strange woman said in a gloomy voice. "You are." Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. "I, Goddess Eternal Calamity, am in charge of the Sin Tribulation. This is the 19th level of the Infernal Star. Living people can enter but not leave," the woman named Goddess Eternal Calamity said coldly. What she meant was that Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't be able to get out alive. "Oh, you can take the life of this son of God?" Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. He didn't sense any irresistible pressure from Goddess Eternal Calamity. In other words, Goddess Eternal Calamity was not a top-notch expert. She was more like the spokesperson chosen by the countless cultivators and resentful spirits who had fallen on the Emperor Road. She was in charge of the Sin Tribulation. Mimi reading app. Not to mention saints, even supremes can't escape the punishment of the Sin Tribulation. Goddess Eternal Calamity stretched out her hand, and the red lotus hellfire around her turned into entangled fire snakes that rushed toward Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao stood in place with his hands behind his back. He didn't resist at all, and there was even a hint of a smile at the corner of his mouth. On the surface of his body, dark red Sin Immortal Chi appeared. Chapter 564. The dark red sinful immortal Chi was like flowing lava, carrying with it endless sins and tribulations. At the same time, a thin layer of red lotus hellfire curled around it. When Jun Xiaoyao brought out the sinful immortal Chi, the red lotus hellfire turned into a fire snake and landed on him, but it did not cause any ripples. Even Goddess Eternal Calamity was stunned. She had never encountered such a situation. Any living being, regardless of their cultivation level, would be affected by her as long as they had karma, tribulations, and sins. But now, the sinful immortal Chi on Jun Xiaoyao's body made Goddess Eternal Calamity's eyes flash with surprise. Immortal Chi condensed from sins? How is this possible? Goddess Eternal Calamity found it unbelievable. The power of sin was one of the most terrifying forces in the world. All living beings in the world were creating karma. If the world was compared to a furnace, then karma was the flame under the furnace. The three realms were in chaos like a burning house. Everyone was suffering, and it was terrifying. Even some of the top experts found it difficult to completely eradicate their sins. Moreover, he was just a young genius. The world was like a furnace, and Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be standing outside of it. This was why Goddess Eternal Calamity found it unbelievable. "It seems that your means are useless against me." Jun Xiaoyao's expression was as calm as water. Goddess Eternal Calamity naturally did not know that there was something called a system in the world. In her opinion, Jun Xiaoyao could not condense the sinful immortal Chi with his own power. Don't be complacent. All living beings in the world can't escape the restraints of karma. Since I can't punish you with sins, I'll kill you with karma. Goddess Eternal Calamity was still unwilling to give up. No one had ever been able to leave the 19th level of Infernal Star. Jun Xiaoyao naturally could not break this rule. She attacked again. The red lotus hellfire around her boiled, and countless illusions appeared, as if the karma of countless living beings was flowing. Jun Xiaoyao was surrounded by this energy, but his expression was as usual. At this moment, Goddess Eternal Calamity seemed to have sensed something, and her expression changed dramatically. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao with horror in her eyes. That's right, it was fear. It was as if he had seen some kind of great horror that should not exist in this world. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. I don't believe it. Goddess Eternal Calamity shook her head frantically. His expression was one of shock. Seeing Goddess Eternal Calamity's abnormal reaction, Jun Xiaoyao felt a little strange. Goddess of Eternal Calamity said that she wanted to bind Jun Xiaoyao with karma, but Jun Xiaoyao himself didn't feel anything strange. I haven't even felt anything yet, and you're already crazy? Jun Xiaoyao found the whole thing inconceivable. How is that possible? Is your past a complete blank? There's no karma, no connection. All living things in the world? Were they all related? Was it because of fate? Why don't you have anything? Like a person who doesn't exist in this world? Goddess Eternal Calamity's face was filled with shock and even a hint of fear. It was said that the 19 levels of hell were strange. However, the Jun Xiaoyao in front of her made Goddess of Eternal Calamity feel even more creepy and terrifying. He was clearly a living person who existed in this world. Why didn't he have any past or karma? This was truly like seeing a ghost in the flesh. Oh, I see. Jun Xiaoyao heard Goddess Eternal Calamity's ravings. Now he understood. Turned out that it was because he was not connected by karma. Is it because I'm a time traveler? Jun Xiaoyao thought of this point. He was a time traveler? Strictly speaking, he was not completely a creature of this world. And Jun Xiaoyao was originally? He didn't care about karma or fate. As long as he was strong enough, he could decide everything. Why is it like this? No, is it because? Goddess Eternal Calamity thought of a certain possibility. Is he the legendary Fateless One who ranks first among the 3,000 constitutions? Goddess Eternal Calamity thought to herself. The 3,000 constitutions were the most amazing ones in the world since ancient times. Those who ranked in the top hundreds all had extremely rare constitutions. Those who ranked in the top 100 were all geniuses. Those who ranked in the top 30 were absolute geniuses, such as Polychoria, Bones of Supremacy, Emperor Physique, Innate Taoist Embryo, and so on. Those who ranked in the top 10 were the only ones in history. The sacred body of the ancients, the tyrant body of the heavens, the divine body of chaos, and so on were among them. In fact, it was difficult to completely distinguish between these top-notch constitutions. After all, constitutions were one thing, and personal strength was another. The sacred body of the ancients and the tyrant body of the heavens had been competing for countless years, but there was no clear winner. However, there was one constitution that was an exception. This constitution ranked first among the 3,000 constitutions, firmly suppressing the other constitutions. Since ancient times, the ranking had not changed. He was none other than a legendary Fateless One. Fateless One jumped out of the 3 realms and did not belong to the 5 elements. There was no fate, no karma. No one could investigate their past, and no one could predict their future. This was the only anomaly in the world since ancient times. They were not connected by karma and did not fall into the mortal world. This kind of constitution did not seem to have any fancy abilities, but it was the most terrifying, because with this kind of constitution, it was equivalent to a person who did not exist. Not to mention great emperors, even real immortals could not grasp the river of fate of this kind of person. How terrifying was an existence that even immortals could not see. However, it was also because this kind of constitution was so heaven-defying that it had never been found since ancient times. Some people even doubted whether such a constitution existed. Or could it be that he had just made it up? However, some people believed that if such a constitution did exist, it would be impossible to be discovered. After all, fateless ones were inherently difficult to divine and control. Even Goddess Eternal Calamity only had such a guess and did not dare to confirm it. In any case, Jun Xiaoyao was definitely an anomaly. Even she could not do anything about it. Goddess Eternal Calamity said, "How many years has it been to meet someone like you? The biggest anomaly in the world. You will suffer many tribulations even without me doing anything." Hearing this, Jun Xiaoyao smiled and said, "I have gone through more than one tribulation. It seems that the heavens are helpless against me for the time being." Goddess Eternal Calamity sighed helplessly and said, "You are indeed unique. You are not connected by karma, sin, or the mortal world. Could it be that the taboo of the 19th level of hell was going to be broken because of Jun Xiaoyao?" "Go," Goddess Eternal Calamity said. Her ability was so terrifying that even paragons were afraid of her. However, she could not do anything to Jun Xiaoyao. If Jun Xiaoyao really was a legendary fateless one, he would be able to do so. She was merely the goddess of eternal calamity, so it was even more impossible for her to threaten Jun Xiaoyao. "It seems that you can't do anything to the Son of God," Jun Xiaoyao said with a playful look in his eyes. He stepped forward and approached Goddess Eternal Calamity. "What are you doing?" Goddess Eternal Calamity was startled, and her eyes were filled with vigilance. Chapter 565. Goddess Eternal Calamity admitted that she couldn't do anything to Jun Xiaoyao. But then again, it was impossible for Jun Xiaoyao to do anything to her. The 19th level of Infernal Star was her home ground. There was an endless stream of energy flowing into her body at every moment. Therefore, Goddess Eternal Calamity was almost indestructible on the 19th level. Unless Jun Xiaoyao could destroy the entire Infernal Star. Jun Xiaoyao walked up to Goddess Eternal Calamity and reached out to pinch her chin. "Don't act all high and mighty in front of me, the Son of God. You're just a cultivator who died on the Emperor Road. You're just a living being formed by the accumulation of karma and resentment. If you really piss me off, it's not impossible for me to destroy the entire Infernal Star." Jun Xiaoyao couldn't do it himself. However, the power behind him was able to do so. "So, what else do you want?" Goddess Eternal Calamity was wary of Jun Xiaoyao because she suspected that he was a fateless one, but didn't do anything. Ordinary women would have blushed and their hearts raced if they were so close to Jun Xiaoyao. But Goddess Eternal Calamity didn't. She was a living being formed by the accumulation of karma and resentment. She had almost no human emotions. "You're not bad. You're qualified to be my follower, the Son of God," Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Jun Xiaoyao intended to create followers like his father, the God King 8. Therefore, he had always been paying attention and looking for those talents that could catch his eye. Now Jun Xiaoyao had 3 followers. Yu, the successor of the ancient monarchs. Yan Qingying, the successor of the god-devouring demonic technique. Goddess Eternal Calamity had a special background, but she had the terrifying ability to control karma and sin. She was indeed a rare talent. "What? You want to take me as your follower?" Even Goddess Eternal Calamity was a little stunned. Her beautiful cheeks, branded with black runes, froze. Who was she? The ruler of the 19th level of Infernal Star. The embodiment of the power of sin. It was feared by countless people, and became one of the 7 legendary inconceivable existences. And now, Jun Xiaoyao actually said that he wanted to take her in as a follower. This was simply insane. "Are you joking?" Goddess Eternal Calamity asked coldly. "Judging from your words and actions, you must have your own thoughts and soul. Are you so willing to stay in this godforsaken place? And you, to put it nicely, are the controller of karma. To put it bluntly, you're just a puppet of those vengeful spirit." Jun Xiaoyao's words were like thorns stabbing into Goddess Eternal Tribulation's heart. Indeed, the meaning of her birth was nothing more than the resentment of countless Emperor Road cultivators. To put it bluntly, he was just a tool. Furthermore, his freedom would be forever restricted. You wield the power of karma? Yet, you are unable to sever your own karma. Isn't that also a form of sorrow? Jun Xiaoyao said. What did he think? He was like a scammer trying to trick people. And Goddess Eternal Calamity had always stayed on the 19th level of Infernal Star. To a certain extent, her thinking was quite simple. Compared to Jun Xiaoyao, who was full of evil tricks, she still seemed very naive. And to tell you the truth? Only I have the ability to give you freedom and promise to let you get rid of the shackles of resentment. You can obtain true freedom. Jun Xiaoyao continued to persuade her. Goddess Eternal Calamity was finally moved. She said, "Can you really give me freedom?" "Of course." Jun Xiaoyao nodded. "But I can't leave Infernal Star? An Infernal Star is the source of my power? If I leave, my power will weaken a lot," Goddess Eternal Calamity said. "You don't have to worry about that. As long as you agree, I will naturally come back in the future. I will take you out. As for the source of power, I will think of a way when the time comes. And with your talent, even if you don't rely on Infernal Star, your strength will not be weak in the future," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Then all right." Goddess Eternal Calamity nodded. She really wanted to get rid of the influence of resentment and obtain freedom. Jun Xiaoyao had only awakened this desire of hers. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Since Goddess Eternal Calamity had agreed, this was also karma. But now, Jun Xiaoyao was not able to take Goddess Eternal Calamity out by himself. But there would definitely be a chance in the future. "What's next? Are you going to leave?" Goddess Eternal Calamity asked. "Of course not. It's not easy to come to the 19th level of Infernal Star. How can I leave so easily?" Jun Xiaoyao said. When he entered the depths of Infernal Star, the supreme bone in his chest had been burning. Could it be that my supreme bone's third superpower is about to awaken? Jun Xiaoyao asked suspiciously. The first superpower of his supreme bone was the power of heaven, and the second superpower was the power of reincarnation. Could the third superpower be the power of sin? Jun Xiaoyao thought, sat down cross-legged, and activated the supreme bone. In an instant, the supreme bone shone with a dazzling light, and a terrifying suction force burst out. The power of sin and the red lotus hellfire in the surroundings surged toward Jun Xiaoyao's chest like rivers flowing into the sea. This was a shocking scene. Goddess Eternal Calamity also took a deep breath. She did not expect Jun Xiaoyao to undergo such a change. It seems that the third superpower of my supreme bone is indeed related to the power of sin. If that's the case, Jun Xiaoyao opened his hands and activated the supreme bone with all his strength. Thousands of karmas, all on my body. Eternal sin, return to my body. Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone swallowed the endless power of sin from the 19th level of Infernal Star. He seemed to have become the center of Infernal Star. A terrifying power seemed to be gradually brewing, gathering, and awakening in Jun Xiaoyao's chest. The dazzling supreme bone in his chest also seemed to be stained. It began to be stained with a dark red color, with a demonic will and power of sin. Obviously, the power of the third superpower of the supreme bone would be very strange and terrifying. Previously, Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone did not have much of a sense of existence because Jun Xiaoyao could defeat everything with just his sacred body of the ancients. He did not need to use the supreme bone. But now, Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone's third superpower was about to awaken, and the power of the bone would also be displayed. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have some kind of enlightenment. Karma, sin, creation, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. He sat cross-legged on the spot, and a wisp of sin immortal chi appeared on the surface of his body. The endless power of sin formed a cocoon and wrapped him inside. When Goddess Eternal Calamity saw this, she was also shocked. She had never seen anyone who could use the power of sin so skillfully. Is this the power of a fateless one? Goddess Eternal Calamity thought to herself. If Jun Xiaoyao was really a legendary Fateless One, being his follower would not be a humiliation, but an honor. Jun Xiaoyao had been in this state for a long time. More than half a year had passed unknowingly. The training ground outside the Infernal Star was in a hubbub. Everyone was talking about Jun Xiaoyao. Chapter 566. It's been more than half a year, and the son of God of the Jun family still hasn't come out of the 19th level of the Infernal Star. Is he really dead? I don't think so. When the son of God of the Jun family entered the Bronze Immortal Palace, he only came out after a long time. No one knows if the divine child of the Jun family has really fallen or if he's just developing in a wretched manner without waiting for a few years. The barren heaven battlefield of the 18th level of the Emperor Road is about to open. If the son of God of the Jun family doesn't come out, won't he miss the chance to get the seal of proving doctrine? Many geniuses were whispering to each other. The seal of proving doctrine was very important. It was the recognition of the heavenly path. The geniuses who obtained the seal of proving doctrine would have a great advantage when they tried to prove their way in the future. Many of the geniuses who were qualified to step onto the ancient road of ultimate destination had obtained the seal of proving doctrine. The geniuses who had merged with the seal of proving doctrine were far stronger than those who had not. It could be said that if one did not obtain the seal of proving doctrine, they would be looked down upon by the geniuses of the other mystic realms, even if they stepped onto the ancient road of ultimate destination. Because of this, many geniuses of the Emperor Road of the Huangtian mystic realm began to gather at the barren heaven battlefield of the 18th level of the Emperor Road. The sooner they entered, the higher their chances of finding the seal of proving doctrine. Other than that, there were other opportunities in the barren heaven battlefield. The inheritance of a supreme being was nothing. Even the opportunity to become a boundary emperor might appear. Why hasn't Master come out yet? The nine-headed lion was also bored. Then, he glanced at Kong Xian and curled his lip. Your master is dead. Why haven't you left yet? You want to take my seat as a mount? Dream on. The nine-headed lion thought that Kong Xian was addicted to being ridden by Jun Xiaoyao and did not want to leave. This made the nine-headed lion feel a sense of crisis. The competition to be a mount was so fierce these days. I'm just curious if Jun Xiaoyao can walk out of the 19th level, Kong Xian said. Until now, she still could not accept the fact that Jun Xiaoyao had killed Jade Fozi so easily. She wanted to see with her own eyes if Jun Xiaoyao could create this impossible miracle again. Heh! Is there even a need to doubt it? The word miracle was created especially for my master. The nine-headed lion grinned. It had completely become Jun Xiaoyao's boasting. The golden-winged little rock king, Mu Yuehan, and Xiao Xian did not leave either. Why isn't little brother coming out yet? Xian Er's stomach is already shriveling from hunger. Xiao Xian frowned and said. At first, she was afraid that Jun Xiaoyao would refine her. Is of life? She wouldn't leave even if Jun Xiaoyao were to chase her away. The golden-winged little rock king was helpless when he saw this. This little Xian Er's appetite was too picky. Tea halves? She didn't even look at him. Perhaps only immortal essence? Of heaven precious? Ts of treasure of course of that. I believe that Lord Son of God will come out safely, Mu Yuehan said firmly. They did not go to the Emperor Road's 18 stages to participate in the barren heaven battlefield. Instead, they chose to wait here. While they were waiting, the news of Jun Xiaoyao killing the 3 figureheads and entering the Infernal Star's 19 levels had caused an uproar in the Emperor Road. Could it be? From the Emperor Road's first stage to the 18th stage? Every city stage? Many sky prides were discussing Jun Xiaoyao. Isn't that Jun family's son of God a little too terrifying? He killed Jade Fozi and the other 2 figureheads with just 40% of his strength. Yeah, and the Jun family's son of God has cultivated 4 strands of immortal qi. He's a freak. Even on the ancient road? A sky pride who can cultivate 4 strands of immortal chi? That's rare. The Jun family's son of God hasn't even set foot on the ancient road yet, and he's already so powerful. It's a pity that the Jun family's son of God was too impulsive and entered the infernal star's 19 levels. Although it's hard to say if he'll die, he might miss the opening of the barren heaven battlefield. Some sky prides felt that it was a pity that Jun Xiaoyao was too impulsive. If he missed the barren heaven battlefield and failed to obtain the seal of proving doctrine, it would be a great loss. The entire Emperor Road was talking about Jun Xiaoyao's deeds. Therefore, it was inevitable that the news would gradually spread from the Emperor Road. The Heavenly Void starfield was a starfield outside the Huangtian mystic realm. It had more than a dozen ancient planets with life. At that moment, an old, furious voice came from a palace deep in the starry sky of the Heavenly Void ancient starfield. Jun Xiaoyao, how dare you kill my disciple? Good, very good. An old man in a white robe was in the palace. His face was red, twisted, and ferocious. He was the master of the Void Sword Master, the strongest honorable swordsman in the Heavenly Void starfield. The Void Sword Master had no faction or sect behind him. He only had the Honorable Swordsman as his master. The Honorable Swordsman only had the Void Sword Master as his disciple. He almost treated the Void Sword Master as half a son. The Honorable Swordsman was the one who found the Void Book on the Void Sword Master and gave it to the Void Sword Master. Multi-source app, Mimi Read. It was obvious that the Honorable Swordsman doted on the Void Sword Master. However, that disciple, whom he had high hopes for, was killed by Jun Xiaoyao without a second thought. It was obvious that this hatred would not end until one of them was dead. Damn it. My disciple is so strong and has cultivated half a space book. It's impossible for him to be killed so easily. It must be that Jun Xiaoyao who oppressed my disciple with his background. The more the Honorable Sword Master thought about it, the angrier he became. He did not want to believe that the disciple that he had carefully cultivated would be killed by Jun Xiaoyao as if he was sweeping away trash. Therefore, he thought that Jun Xiaoyao must have oppressed his disciple with the background of the Jun family. Disciple, don't worry. I won't let this go so easily. The Jun family is strong and I can't afford to offend them. However, I still have the ability to secretly kill Jun Xiaoyao. The Honorable Swordmaster's eyes were cold. He did not think that Jun Xiaoyao would die on the 19th level of the Infernal Star. He wanted to avenge his disciple personally. As long as I bear with it and wait for Jun Xiaoyao to leave the Emperor Road, I will find a chance to secretly kill him, the Honorable Swordmaster said to himself coldly. Oh, is that so? Suddenly, an emotionless voice sounded. Who is it? The Honorable Swordmaster felt his hair stand on end. He was terrified. This was his dojo. Normally, no one would dare to step into the heavenly void ancient star zone. The Honorable Swordmaster turned around and saw two gray-robed figures. One of them was an elder in a gray robe, and the other was a gray-robed child who was about 10 years old. You are. The Honorable Swordmaster sensed that something was wrong. You dare to plot against the successor of the Jun family. I have to say that you are very brave. The gray-robed elder grinned. The Honorable Swordmaster was shocked when he heard that. He was overwhelmed with shock. The gray-robed child snorted and said, Why are you talking nonsense? How dare you plot against the darling of the Jun family? Kill him! Then, he raised his hand and a golden octagonal ancient mirror appeared. It was engraved with the patterns of the 8 trigrams. The mirror seemed to reflect the 3,000 greater worlds. A vast emperor's aura spread out and suppressed all directions. The Honorable Swordmaster almost stopped breathing. A chill ran down his spine. When this ancient golden mirror appeared, he completely understood everything. Boom! A golden light beam that could destroy everything shot out from the ancient mirror. The Honorable Swordmaster did not even have the chance to struggle. he was directly turned into ashes by this attack. The most powerful honorable in the heavenly void ancient star zone was killed in one move. Chapter 567. If the other cultivators in the heavenly void ancient starfield saw this, they would definitely be shocked to the core. This was the most powerful supreme in the heavenly void ancient starfield. Not only that, but he was also very famous in the surrounding ancient starfield. In the end, he was killed in a single move. He died in such a straightforward manner. Looking at the ashes of the honorable void sword, the 16th ancestor put away the Sky Emperor mirror and snorted. What an idiot! He offended the June family. I'm afraid he won't even be able to reincarnate. Hee Xiaoyao, this child, how long has it been since he stepped on the Emperor's road? He has already created such a shocking record. The 18th ancestor chuckled, his voice full of pride. The June family did not interfere with the Emperor's road. However, they were paying attention to June Xiaoyao's every move. Previously, they heard that June Xiaoyao had killed Jade Fozi, the sword master of the void, and the third prince of the sea god. They were keeping an eye out, intending to get rid of some hidden dangers for June Xiaoyao. Therefore, the 18th ancestor and the 16th ancestor came to the heavenly void ancient starfield. If the honorable void sword had behaved himself and did not want revenge, the 18th ancestor and the 16th ancestor would not have killed him. But what could he do? He had brought this upon himself. The honorable void sword was courting death by scheming against June Xiaoyao. Therefore, he could not blame them for taking action. The 19th level of the infernal star shouldn't be too much of a problem for Xiaoyao, right? The 18th ancestor said lightly. It's just a slightly more difficult test. It's nothing. If something goes wrong, we'll just wipe out the infernal star. They were very confident that June Xiaoyao could pass the 19th level of the infernal star. At the same time, in another vast ancient starfield. This ancient starfield was blue. There were more than 10 ancient life stars. All of them were blue and most of them were oceans. This was the ancient Sea King starfield. At this moment, in the central main star, in a magnificent and luxurious underwater palace. Damn it, my son died just like that. Inside the palace, a blue-haired middle-aged man in golden armor was sitting on a throne inlaid with pearls, crystals, and other rare treasures. He let out a furious roar. Below him stood 2 rows of experts. Among them, the one with the weakest cultivation? He was also in the great sage realm. There were even 6 to 7 supreme being expert. Was this an extremely powerful force? Comparable to an undying power. But now? These experts also lowered their heads, not daring to get into trouble. The middle-aged man who was roaring angrily? He was the ruler of the Sea King Ancient Star Zone, the Sea King. Most of the territories in the Ancient Star Field had many experts. Everything was under his control. From this, it could be seen, the Ocean King's forces were terrifying. Your Majesty, you must avenge our son. Wasn't his death too tragic? That son of God of the June family will die a horrible death. Beside the throne, a beautiful woman with a delicate face was sobbing. She sobbed. She was the sea god's third prince's mother and the Sea King's most beloved concubine. Don't I hate him? It's just that June Xiaoyao's identity is difficult to deal with. The Sea King's face was gloomy. He was like a furious lion. Although he had quite a number of descendants, but the strongest and most talented among them was still the sea god's third prince. The Sea King also valued the third prince very much. He even thought of passing the throne to him in the future. However, his son, who he thought of as his successor, died tragically on Emperor Road. With the Sea King's temperament, he would definitely pay back 100-fold for killing his son. But the person who killed him was June Xiaoyao. He was known as one of the most untouchable people in the Huangtian mystic realm. Although the Sea King had witnessed the battle of the immortals in the Huangtian mystic realm, he had heard about it. Now, no one dared to provoke June Xiaoyao unless they had a death wish. Let's think about this at length. The Sea King clenched his fists tightly. He was not stupid. How could a fool control the Sea King ancient star zone? On the contrary, after the Sea King heard the news, he had temporarily calmed down from his initial rage. It would be difficult to take revenge. It was almost impossible, unless the Sea King ancient star zone could develop to a point where the June family would be wary. Otherwise, he would die if he made a move now. As for assassination? The Sea King believed that the June family was not that stupid. If June Xiaoyao died, the Sea King ancient star zone would be the first suspect. What? Your Majesty, do you mean that you won't avenge our son? The beautiful woman heard the Sea King's words and screamed. A mother's status depended on her son. Now that she had lost the third prince, the beautiful woman was not only heartbroken because of the loss of her son, but she was also afraid that her status would plummet. If the third prince had not died, she would have been the Empress Dowager of the Sea King ancient star zone. It was because of this that the beautiful woman hated June Xiaoyao, who killed the third prince, to the extreme. Then what do you think we should do? The Sea King said irritably. I don't care. June Xiaoyao must die, and we can't let him die so easily. We must skin him alive, pull out his tendons, and tear him into pieces. The beautiful woman's tone was full of hatred and resentment. The Sea King sighed deeply when he heard this. It was basically impossible. Right at this moment, a charming female voice suddenly sounded. Oh, although we are all women, I have to say that women are the most vicious. Who is it? Hearing this voice, the Sea King and the other powerhouses were shocked and shouted coldly. Boom! The next moment, the top of the palace exploded. Even the seawater was split in two, revealing the blue sky. A magnificent and ancient bronze palace, filled with a sense of desolation, broke through the air and descended. 4 figures slowly stepped out of the bronze palace. They were a blind old man, a crippled old man, a charming woman, and a parrot. At first glance, they looked like the most ordinary beings in the world. However, at this moment, even a fool knew that they were definitely the 4 supreme beings that should not be provoked. This is the Bronze Immortal Palace. You are. The Sea King's breathing stopped and his mind went blank when he saw this. How dare you target the master of the monarch imperial court? You are very bold. Fang Xunyang smiled slightly and was as charming as a flower. At this moment, all the powerhouses of the ancient Sea King Star region felt a chill run down their spine. The June family was not the only one who became famous in the immortal battle. There was also a rising immortal force, a force that was specially created by June Xiaoyao. The monarch imperial court. The 4 people in front of them were the 4 supreme elders of the monarch imperial court. Oh my God, 4 supreme mystic venerables! Some of the powerhouses of the ancient Sea King Star region felt their legs go soft. Not to mention the other forces of the monarch imperial court, just these 4 supreme mystic venerables alone were enough to completely destroy the entire ancient Sea King Star region. Chapter 568. The ancient Sea King Starfield had some supreme beings. However, there were no supreme mystic venerables. Now that the 4 supreme mystic venerables had arrived, the supreme beings of the ancient Sea King Starfield were panicking. The Sea King's eyes flashed with a hint of panic, but he quickly calmed down. He cupped his hands and said, So it's the 4 supreme elders of the Emperor's court. I apologize for not going out to meet you. Hearing this, Fang Xunyang smiled and said, Cut the crap. We heard what this woman said just now. She insulted the Emperor's court. What should we do? This. The Sea King was shocked. The beautiful woman beside him was scared out of her wits. Her face was pale as if she had been smeared with a layer of powder. Her body was trembling like a quail. Let her have a taste of what she said just now. Otherwise, the Emperor's court won't let this go, Fang Xunyang said with a smile. That's right. If you don't know what's good for you, then burn, rob, and kill them all. The parrot shouted in a duck-like voice. During the immortal battle, the Emperor's court had confiscated the Wang family's property. The parrot was addicted to it. Hearing this, the beautiful woman was so scared that she almost convulsed. Tears and snot flowed down her face. She knelt before the Sea King and said, "Your Majesty, you can't treat me like this." The Sea King's hand trembled slightly. He closed his eyes and then opened them again. His eyes flashed with determination. On one side was the entire ancient Sea King Starfield, and on the other side was his beloved concubine. The Sea King knew which was more important. "Don't blame me." The Sea King's eyes flashed with coldness. "No." The beautiful woman screamed. What followed was an extremely bloody scene. The beautiful woman had cursed Jun Xiaoyao viciously. She said that she would skin Jun Xiaoyao, pull out his tendons, and tear him into pieces. However, she was the first to taste the extreme pain. The beautiful woman was skinned alive and had her tendons pulled out. In the end, she was ground into a pile of flesh and blood. "Is this enough?" The Sea King breathed heavily. His face was red and slightly distorted. As the king of the ancient star field? Was he being threatened? He was being tortured to death by his beloved concubine. Spread the word? He would be ridiculed by everyone. "Do you think that's enough?" Fang Xunyang turned around and asked. "Why go through so much trouble? Destroy it." "I think so too." "Quack quack, that's great. We can burn, kill, and loot again." The parrot was so excited that its feathers stood up. "Are you toying with me?" Upon hearing this, the Sea King exploded. "Do you believe a woman's words?" Fang Xunyang didn't mind at all. An old blind man snapped his fingers. Spatial vortexes began to appear in the void. Numerous figures walked out from within. It was the army of the immortal ancient world. The dawn immortal of immortal ancients, 4 great races? Experts like Ao Tsang-yuan? They also led their own elites out in full force. "How dare you!" the Sea King bellowed. He completely understood what was going on. Did the monarch dynasty plan to destroy the ancient Sea King Starfield from the very beginning? No matter what their attitude was. The monarch imperial court is still developing? How should I put it? They lack money and food. An old blind man stroked his beard and smiled. Although the monarch dynasty had the support of the Jun family, how could they develop? They still needed a huge amount of resources and foundation. Where would they come from? The simplest way? Of course, they would rob them. And the ancient Sea King Starfield gave the monarch dynasty an excuse to send out troops. If they massacred the ancient Starfield for no reason, it would obviously affect the monarch dynasty's reputation. But now it didn't matter. With Jun Xiaoyao as an excuse, they could openly attack. The Sea King wasn't stupid. He thought for a moment and understood. His blue hair danced in the wind as he roared, "The monarch dynasty has gone too far. Kill." An old blind man didn't want to waste time talking nonsense. The monarch dynasty's immortal ancient army attacked together with the 4 of them. Even if all the experts in the ancient Sea King Starfield joined forces, they still wouldn't have a chance of winning. "Monarch dynasty, if you want to destroy the ancient Sea King Starfield, you will have to pay." "Monarch weapon, come out!" the Sea King roared. A trident that was covered in golden light pierced out from the bottom of the sea with a vast monarch aura. It was the supreme monarch weapon of the ancient Sea King Starfield, the Sea God's Trident. The Sea God's Trident of the Third Prince was a replica of the Sea God's Trident. At this moment, the real monarch weapon appeared and its power surged. "Monarch weapon?" Fang Xunyang tilted her head. Then, with a loud bang, 5 monarch weapons appeared in the bronze immortal palace. Other than the spoils of war from the immortal battle, there was the Qilin wheel, the phoenix wing golden centipede, the wild crocodile's broken tooth, and the northern emperor ruler. There was also a wheel that slowly rotated with a vast aura as if it had formed the 6 paths of reincarnation, crushing all enemies in the world. It was the monarch weapon of the reincarnation demon sect, the 6 paths of reincarnation disc. But now it belonged to the monarch dynasty. When the 5 monarch weapons appeared, all the experts in the ancient Sea King Starfield were dumbfounded. Their bodies stiffened as if their souls had been sucked out. Which immortal force could take out 5 monarch weapons at once? In the Huangtian mystic realm, apart from the Jun family, only the monarch dynasty could do so. The Sea King's face turned pale. His body trembled as if he was about to fall to the ground. "It's over," the Sea King muttered to himself. Who would have thought that the third prince of the sea god would lead to the destruction of the entire ancient Sea King Starfield? Needless to say, the monarch dynasty's power was more than enough to destroy an ancient Sea King Starfield. More than 10 ancient planets with life had been destroyed. The monarch dynasty's troops were like locusts passing through. Wherever they went, there would be nothing left. It was as if they had learned from Jun Xiaoyao's teachings. But this time, they dug up the roots and left no leeway. In the end, the entire ancient Sea King Starfield was destroyed. All the forces related to the Sea King were wiped out. Obviously, this kind of thing couldn't be hidden. It didn't take long for the entire Huangtian mystic realm to know. The most powerful sovereign of the heavenly void ancient Starfield, the Sword Master of the Void, had fallen. As for the ancient Sea King Starfield, it was almost completely destroyed. Then, they thought of the news that Jun Xiaoyao had killed the 3 little tycoons in the Emperor Road. Everyone instantly understood. For a moment, all the forces were shocked. Just because they had offended Jun Xiaoyao, the people and forces behind the third prince of the sea god and the sword master of the void had been wiped out. Everyone sighed. In the Huangtian mystic realm, one could offend anyone but the son of God of the Jun family. Otherwise, not only would they die, but they might also implicate the families and forces behind them. As for the Little Western Paradise, it was the first to express its stance. Everything was predestined. Yu Fuzi's death was also predestined. As for the Buddhists, they would not have any thoughts of revenge. Everything was up to fate. After that, the Little Western Paradise announced that it would be temporarily closed for a period of time. Some cultivators went to the Little Western Paradise to investigate and found that the Little Western Paradise had already raised a protective array. Is this necessary? Many people thought to themselves. The Little Western Paradise was an immortal sect that had been passed down for thousands of years. How could they be so cowardly? Chapter 569. However, some forces could understand Little Western Paradise's cautious approach. After all, the Jun family was used to being domineering, and now there was the even more domineering imperial court. With the two forces working together, even Little Western Paradise would have to bow their heads. What made the Western Paradise feel relieved was that the Jun family didn't come to find trouble with them. It was not that the Jun family did not dare to provoke them, but Little Western Paradise was not so despicable as to secretly plot against Jun Xiaoyao. Since Jun Xiaoyao was not a threat, the Jun family naturally did not bother to do anything. However, the disturbance this time around had clearly made people aware of it. The Jun family could not be provoked. Jun Xiaoyao could not be provoked. The incident in the Huangtian mystic realm lasted for a while before it quieted down. The destruction of an ancient star zone was just a topic for the immortal forces of the Huangtian mystic realm. However, the incident on the Emperor Road did not stop. In the depths of the Emperor Road's 18 levels, the opening of the Huangtian battlefield had undoubtedly set off a storm. Many ambitious geniuses stepped into the barren heaven battlefield, intending to fight for the heavenly fate realm. The Jun family, Lord Grimm, Jun Lingsang, and other sequences. The Jiang family, Jiang Shengyi, Jiang Luoli, and others. The Ji family, Ji Qingyi, and others. The demon god palaces Yen Rumeng. The celestial demon cults Xiao Maxian, Long Shuhuang, Huang Zhiyan, and the descendant of the crocodile ancestor, Yu, Yen Qingying, Princess Longji, and others who had made a name for themselves on the Emperor Road were all preparing to enter the Huangtian battlefield. In addition, many monstrous geniuses from the ancient star zone were also preparing to enter. In the depths of the Emperor Road's 18 levels, on an immeasurable mountain peak that towered into the stars. A black-robed figure with a cold face stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the deep starry sky in the distance. He carried a blood-stained sword on his back. The biting cold sword aura caused the stars in the sky to tremble as if they were about to fall. In the distance, some geniuses had been paying attention to this place. The young man in black was the reincarnation of the sword demon of the Yi clan, Yi Guchen, ranked first on the barren sky saint ranking. Jun Xiaoyao, not only are you not dead, you have become even stronger. I'm afraid even the 19th level of Infernal Star will not be able to trap you, Yi Guchen said calmly. Jun Xiaoyao, this was a name that people could not help but revere when it was mentioned. But when it came from Yi Guchen's mouth, there was only fighting spirit in his eyes. There was no other emotion. In the past, in the Huangtian mystic realm, Yi Guchen had once said that kings do not meet kings. But now, the king and the king were about to meet. In my hands? Only the tip of the sword is 3 feet long and invincible? Reincarnating and cultivating all over again just to be defeated. As soon as Yi Guchen finished speaking, the Imperial Slayer sword on his back? It released a monstrous sword light that directly cut down the many stars suspended in the starry sky. Jun Xiaoyao, what if you come out? At the end of the Huangtian battlefield, we will fight in the Heavenly Law Arena. As soon as he finished speaking, countless stars in the starry sky exploded at the same time, as if the curtains had been drawn for this peak battle. Is Yi Guchen challenging Jun Xiaoyao? Interesting? Very interesting. This will be the ultimate battle of the geniuses on this Emperor Road. In the distance, many of the geniuses who were paying attention to Yi Guchen, their eyes were filled with excitement. These 2 people, one of them was the reincarnation of the ancient sword demon. He cut off his past and reconstructed his true self. Not long after he stepped onto the Emperor Road, he took first place on the Huangtian saint ranking. The other person was the son of God of the Jun family, who had never been defeated since he was born. He was known as the Invincible Saint and the number 1 of the younger generation in the Huangtian mystic realm. If these 2 people were to fight, there was no doubt that it would be the most dazzling battle in the entire Emperor Road. Oh no, I have to go bet. Who do you think will win? Don't rush. The son of God of the Jun family may not be able to come out of the 19th level of the Infernal Star. But no matter what, if the son of God of the Jun family comes out, he will definitely come. Then, there will be something to see. This will be the battle for the throne of the Emperor Road. It could be said that Yi Guchen's battle this time had ignited the atmosphere of the entire Emperor Road. Amidst such heated emotions, the barren heaven battlefield finally opened. It was an ancient and vast battlefield, located at the end of the Huangtian Mystic Realm's Emperor Road's 18 levels. In this vast ancient battlefield, there were supreme treasures, opportunities for quasi-emperors, divine gold, elixirs of immortality, immortal marrow veins, and all kinds of treasures and opportunities that were tempting. Of course, there was also the thing that all geniuses yearned for the most, the seal of proving the way. There was more than one seal of proving the way. Generally speaking, it was already very impressive for a genius to get one seal of proving the way. However, there were some extremely talented geniuses who could even get 2 or 3. Even on the ancient road, these geniuses were definitely the top geniuses. With the desire to prove the way in their hearts, many geniuses stepped into the barren heaven battlefield. It was destined to be a blood-stained battlefield. Of course, there were also some geniuses who were waiting for Jun Xiaoyao to appear, such as the Golden-Winged Roc, Mu Yuehan, and Kong Xian. They did not go to the barren heaven battlefield. Instead, they waited for Jun Xiaoyao. This wait lasted for another year. In the blink of an eye, it had been 3 or 4 years since the Emperor Road opened. Most of the geniuses who stepped onto the Emperor Road had fallen. A small number of them had worn out their will and stayed in the city along the way, or left quietly. The remaining geniuses who could step into the barren heaven battlefield were all giants among men. Their talent, strength, and temperament were all flawless in all aspects. Only these geniuses were qualified to step onto the ancient road and compete with the geniuses from the other mystic realms. During this year, there was also a lot of news that spread from the barren heaven battlefield. For example, Long Xuhuang, who had the dragon phoenix body, obtained an opportunity in the barren heaven battlefield and cultivated 3 strands of immortal qi, shocking the entire battlefield. He even had a conflict with Princess Long Ji, an ancient freak from the Zulong Azure Dragon bloodline, and injured her in the end. There was also Huang Juyan, an ancient freak from the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain. Some people said that his Phoenix Rebirth incantation had undergone nirvana 8 times. When he underwent the final nirvana 9 times, he would be able to trace his origin and possess a pure bloodline comparable to the descendants of the ancient emperors. There was also the descendant of the crocodile ancestor, who was extremely ferocious and had devoured more than one small powerhouse. What puzzled some people was that Yi Guqin, who was ranked first on the barren heaven saint ranking, did not have any battle results. That was because no one dared to casually compete with him. Since no one dared to compete with him, Yi Guqin naturally did not have any shocking battle results. However, wasn't this the most shocking battle result? Apart from these people, there were also many stories of geniuses spreading. Recently, the most eye-catching news was related to the Jiang family's goddess, Jiang Shengyi. There were rumors that Jiang Shengyi seemed to have found a divine fetus in some ancient ruins in the barren heaven battlefield. This undoubtedly caused an uproar in the entire barren heaven battlefield. It was rumored that a divine fetus was the energy source left behind by a remnant immortal. Previously, in the immortal ancient world, Jun Xiaoyao had obtained a drop of blood from a remnant immortal, which had attracted many covetous eyes. Moreover, it was a divine fetus. The birth of a divine fetus undoubtedly drove all the geniuses crazy. That might be the energy left behind by a remnant immortal. If we obtain it, we can cultivate at least 1 strand of immortal qi. I think it's more than 1. I think we can cultivate at least 2 strands of immortal qi. In the barren heaven battlefield, all the geniuses were tempted. In an instant, the Jiang family's goddess, Jiang Shengyi, was pushed to the forefront of the storm. There were rumors that some small powerhouses had already begun to secretly form an alliance to obtain the divine fetus.